Hello, everybody. I'm King of Prussia. Thank you for joining me here for the B1 Echeverria After Action Report. And joining me in this coverage is my good friend Salt.
Hello, hello.
And we're going to be examining this game. I guess I'm going to be explaining what I did in my thought process, and Salt is either going to say, "Yes, KOP, that was a really good idea," or he's going to say, "No, that was really stupid. I don't know why you did that." Um,
Entire job here. I will note I have seen most of this game already, so I'm not going in blind. I have a general idea what happens here. That's all I'll say.
yeah. So I guess I'll begin by explaining all of what I wanted to do, and where and how and why. So I played as Russia, which is this really long power right all the way along here. It's not a proper colonial like England, France, Netherlands, Portugal, or Spain, where you have things all over the world. But if you look at the starting leaderboard, it still does start with 10 centers, which is more than the usual 4 or 5 of most of the regionals, which means it's a pretty important power for everyone else to keep an eye on. And also it means that I need to get 48 centers to win. So if I want to win, I have to take up the size of my brush, I have to take generally everything in this kind of circle. Not everything, but this is generally what you have to aim at as Russia. So you have to really strike quickly and hard and take a lot of dots. So with that in mind, my initial strategy was to work with off the bat before press. My analysis of the position was I wanted to work with Sweden and kill Poland and set the border somewhere right here, ideally. Because I feel like this is pretty defensible for Russia. I get a good angle to go south, and Sweden doesn't really ever have the ability to properly attack me. I mean, he doesn't anyways, but on a border right here, Sweden doesn't have the ability to project power east to make a stab worth it. So that was my western plan. In the south, I erred on the side of wanting to... Honestly, I didn't have any specific southern priorities between Ottomans or Persia. My most important priority with regards to these two was to try to kill one of them quickly and open up an expansion path this way, and then depending on how they behaved and how our relationship evolved and how weak or strong they were, to kill the other one. So I wanted to kill one then the other, not too set on which one I wanted to kill at first. In the east, I wanted to kill Cheng and eat all of his centers because, I mean, look at this, right? It's just really easy.
Yeah.
It's natural. If I can ever core any of these centers, that I could also build fleets in Obdorsk, up here, and in Chukchis, for example, or Evans, and I could start to funnel fleets around and see if I can't, mess with Tokugawa a little bit, which would be nice, or Inuit, because on this map, this is the same tile that Chukchi see. So you can actually get across to North America pretty easily as Russia. So those are all my thoughts before diplomacy started. Feels about right, I think, for Russia. I know Salt played Russia in, it was what was it? A2 Aster?
It was A2A.
Yep. That was us.
So I think generally you have the right ideas going here. Killing Qing especially. There's not a lot of expansion in the east you can get if you're going to be friends with Qing. I've seen some Russias completely give up on the coastline, the Evans and Chukchi,
They kind of just do this.
and it's kind of letting Qing have all of that, which can work. But then you have to focus really hard in Central Asia, and that's already a difficult region for Russia. So killing Qing, if you can manage it, is generally the right approach, I think. Outlying Sweden and going after Poland is... I think you definitely need to ally one and kill the other. I'm personally not sold on which one's the better. I think both options can work. In my own game, I allied Poland and killed Sweden, and that worked out generally pretty well for me. But killing Poland also worked really nicely because you can just continue to attack into Ottomans, and that's a really good natural pivot. As long as Sweden isn't convoying armies into Poland, that border's a really safe one to have. he's got to watch out for that.
Yep.
And generally, if you're killing Poland, I think Ottomans are a better short-term ally for you, at least in the beginning. So Safavid is probably a better target early on in Central Asia. It's kind of my initial thoughts of things.
Sounds about right. So when press started, essentially, I'll go. I guess I'll go east to west because the Qing press was interesting. Qing's first proposal to me was that we should draw the border right here. That I should give Yakuts, and
And
he'd
you
give me
said no.
Ikari, Karakorum, and Turfan. And I basically said, no, this is stupid. I want builds. And
Yeah,
also, I want to be able to kill you. But I didn't tell him that.
naturally.
Yeah. So I basically told Ching that this was pretty unrealistic because we'd both be sacrificing builds early, and then I imagine he would get attacked by Ming and Tokugawa once this was apparent, and that just isn't really good for either of us. So I said that instead we should place the border here, like this, which is a really good border for Russia, I feel. This is really good for me. I'm only giving him 2 centers. I get Evans and Karakorum and Turfan. And he agreed to this.
Yeah.
I basically was telling him that what we could do is I would have armies here and here. Obviously, he'd build them like here and here or whatever, or like a fleet, and he'd have an army here, and that we could just do this. We could basically just collapse into Ming and kill Ming, like that, and get all this movement going. Which, if we did, it would have been really good for him and not for me. And he bought it. He bought it, basically. I also want to say early in the game that Ming was, the first Ming was not talkative in press. I'm pretty sure that I actually had the best kind of diplomatic rapport with Ming in press, just by like repeatedly offering little bits of advice and just continually doing press even when I didn't get a response from them. So I knew that the Qing-Ming relationship was also already a little fractured, which may have helped me convince Qing that I should have all the dots and all the good things.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't think I would agree this deal as Qing, because this is a power that can double pretty easily year one. And they do go through with this, then they're sacrificing one of their year one builds, unless they decide to attack Ming, but generally you don't want to do year one stabs, especially as a smaller power like Qing.
Yeah, as a regional, you don't have the slack like centers to do a year one stab. If you are playing a colonial, then you will have like, even if, like, for example, when I played France in Aster, I immediately killed England, but I didn't suffer in builds too much for it because you have other places to get builds. You can get builds here, you can get builds here, you can get builds here. It's not really you're not committing very hard even when you do this. But if you're a regional, every dot counts.
Yeah, so either you take this deal with Russia and just give up on the extra build year one, which is fine. Like 4 builds on 5 center power is pretty normal. It's not too big of a deal. But like as you said, this gives you a perfect position to just kill Qing.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure this player realizes it or not.
Well, the other thing I didn't mention is that I have a pretty good relationship with Tokugawa from the start as well. We do some press. We kind of agree that what we should do is we should cut Qing about here, and then we should go in this direction. Which I am very fond of that idea. I don't have any problems with the idea that we should kill Qing and then kill Ming and then just keep going south. That's pretty much what I want to do anyways. And
Tokugawa is a dangerous ally to have, though.
Yes, so the problem with having Tokugawa as an ally is they will always have like a billion fleets out here in the Pacific, and so whenever they'd like, they can just like set them all up right here. So if things go wrong on other fronts, Tokugawa's opportunism can be annoying if you don't handle them properly, and even if you do handle them properly, they have a tendency to just snatch up coastal centers and not listen to what you say. So that is something to keep an eye on. But I'm willing to put up with it. I think
killing Qing is still worth it. They're such a huge roadblock to you that there's really not a great way around it. And as long as you can get Tokugawa not growing too fast or committed elsewhere, or if you have like Ming like fighting them enough, then it's probably fine. You just need to avoid them. You need to avoid the situation where Tokugawa is sitting in the North Pacific with 5 fleets and nothing better to do than attack
And take all the dots.
Russia. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my eastern
So if you
situation.
can think of south, that's great.
The other thing I do in my east, which is interacting with the power on the far west of the board, is I just tell Inuit that I am going to be walking my army from Yakutsk to Evans, and then it will continue to Chukchis, and I tell them, don't even try to send your fleet out here and take it, you're going to get bounced and it won't cost me anything. And Inuit, spoiler alert, Inuit goes along with this because, I mean, what else are you going to do? Russia says no, and that's just no. That's all it is.
Yeah, you still get 2 bills with those units, so I don't think they don't really have much reason to be upset by it, I think.
The only issue on their end is if like they're doing negotiations with Ut Shoshone, right? And Ut would either have to go here with this unit or here. Wait, that's a terrible arrow. There.
Yeah.
So that's like the tension that I kind of create, I imagine, in North America by just denying Chukchis outright. But it's not really like it's going to have like long term. Like I don't see much consequence out of doing this logically. Any Inuit worth their
I think
salt.
anyone is going to want to contest Chuck PC pretty soon, like year 2. So you'll probably have to worry about that. But
Yeah, he's gonna want to have a unit
if
there, but
they're
like you can't.
distracted, then it'll work out for you.
Yeah, and I mean it. I'm not too worried on the whole because it just seems illogical to me that Inuit would put up too much of a fuss about Chukchis when they're gonna have to deal with France at the Pascha Uchishon. It's just not worth the effort really.
And you clean up the around area first.
Yes. So the other thing I guess the other thing, other press going west. Mughals and I have like kind of amicable press. We don't talk much early on to my memory, mostly because there's not much reason to. We kind of poke around about some sort of anti-Safavid action, but I'm not really willing to commit to anything this early, and neither are they. So that's about it. Let me.
Yeah. Not much else to talk about with Eagles.
Yes. Yeah, Mughals agrees to give me turf on, but that's about it. And there's not really much value to that concession because I can just force it anyways with Ching being friendly.
Yeah, there's not. It's not worth anything. He wouldn't go for that to begin with. As long as he's not going for like Turkestan, then you're fine.
Yeah. Let's see. Did I take? No, it's going around the server. Okay. Other than that, Safavids does a lot of press early on, and I learned from Captain Meme that Safavids won the Blitz event in the Diplostrat server. So I pretty much immediately have to kind of handle Safavids carefully because he's clearly a guy who knows how to play diplomacy at least somewhat, right? So it's tough.
Bit tougher than the normal players that you're dealing with here.
Yes. Tactically, I imagine he's going to be better than most players just because of the blitz experience. And press-wise, obviously he does a lot of press really early, so it becomes pretty clear to me that I'm going to have to deal with him. We come to an initial agreement of to split dots, I get Shash, he gets Derbent. We split the dots here like this. Oh, this thing hates me like that. And that we would eventually split Ottomans like this. And we would just attack Ottomans in year 2 and be done with it.
You're not playing the year 1 attack on Tbilisi?
I think I propose it. We don't ever come to a conclusion. He keeps saying he wants to wait, which is like a little bit suspicious. But like at the same time, it's like I don't have much leverage early on to force it.
Yeah, you can't. It's not something you really want to pressure someone into doing. But
I
Saudi
try.
Ottoman alliance is Russia's worst nightmare.
It's not good, but like it's not. is not necessarily killer depending on the other moves, but it just limits expansion so much. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
And I try to pressure him a little bit, just like be like, come on, man, let's just do it right now. But it doesn't happen. It doesn't work out, and that's pretty much that. Ottomans is pretty low press generally. He's West Coast as well, so the time zones don't work out perfectly. And we don't talk much, basically. We just say, like, you know, yeah, you can have Tbilisi, I'll take Shash, we'll do this, and then I propose, like, a sort of action against Poland, and he's really non-committal, doesn't say anything, which is what it is, I guess. It's not terrible for me, it's just mildly annoying, and not necessarily a good sign when both of these powers are just non-committal to me off the start. But I'm not really reading it that way in the beginning, at least.
Well, the hope is that they're also like non-committal with each other as well. Like it's not just you. Like if Ottomans are low press with you, they're probably low press with everyone. At least to me, if I see a low press player, I'm gonna try really hard to work against them.
Yeah.
This is my first. That's what I would usually do in this situation, because I presume that if Ottomans aren't talking much to you, then they're probably not making strong allies on their other borders either.
Exactly. Poland and Sweden, neither of them really have strong press with me off the bat. Neither of them strike me as a player that I like really want to double down and work with, right? Like you get those vibes sometimes from people. You're like, oh yeah, this is the type of guy that I want to go and just like immediately kill another player.
Yeah.
I don't really get that from either of these players. Poland seems kind of low press and like non-committal. I'm like kind of hinting that we could maybe attack Sweden, and he doesn't really bite on any of it. So not much happens there. Sweden, I proposed a partition to immediately, and he like kind of says yes, but then also doesn't want to commit early on, which is annoying. But oh well.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
But like
It's a lot of non-committal players to your west.
Yeah, and I mean it's not really good, but I mean at least my analysis early on of this position is that there should be no reason that I get coalitioned in the West by a bunch of people, because at most the people involved, the maximum gains for anyone involved in the coalition against me is 2 centers. For Ottomans, it's Bakhchisarai and Shash. For Safavids, it's Astrakhan and Turkestan. For Poland, it's Moscow, and for Sweden, it's Novgorod and Arkhangelsk. I just don't like my entire thought process is like, okay, there's like non-committal people, maybe 2 of these are working against me or whatever, but I'll be able to handle it. I don't put much stock into the idea that I'm going to be coalitioned off the bat, because it just makes no sense to me, at least in my analysis. Which is maybe arrogant.
Especially dealing with people that are like newer to the game, then usually they'll want to go out. They don't want to make committal moves like in general. You have to like kind of prod them into attacking somebody, and they especially don't want to attack anyone in the first year, which is at least what I found. So
yeah, that sounds.
I mean,
right.
usually they want you want to plan those things in year 2 with them, and then it'll happen. So I guess we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's about it for most relevant press. I'm trying to think. I'm not sure if it's the first year or later, but I know I do strike up a pretty good rapport with England. We have good press over the course of the game. With a common neighbor and everything. And he's pretty good. You'll see later on that he is pretty good to me, and that's pretty nice. But other than that, I think I'm gonna tick the phase. Oh no, this is the other funny thing that happened. Is that I go to Spain, and I'm trying to assert how good of a partner Spain is going to be if I want to do anti-Ottoman action. Because if I want to fight the Ottomans, having Spain on my side is pretty good. It's just a really big distraction for the Ottomans. So I go to Spain and I say, hey Spain, you and I should spread rumors about people attacking the Ottomans so that we can get a good hit on him. I'm like, I'm like Spain, you tell Poland, and I'll tell Abyssinia that, like Austria is attacking the Ottomans and that Safavid is attacking the Ottomans, stuff like this. Just like random BS that we just make up. And Spain, instead of going and, Spain says yes to me, And then Spain goes immediately to like everybody on the map and says, hey, Russia wants to spread rumors about the Ottomans being attacked. And I know that because Spain told Sweden, and Sweden, within an hour of me telling Spain that I wanted to spread rumors about Ottomans, Sweden goes, hey, Spain told me that you wanted to spread rumors about the Ottomans. So I'm like,
I don't think Spain
I,
knew what
or
the assignment was.
actually, I'm not sure if it was, it might not have been Sweden who told me. It might have actually been, it might have actually been Poland. Let me see. Sorry, I have to fact check this in the press channels. Blah blah
Well,
blah.
at least we've learned that Spain has a tendency to leak information.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just I just learned
Well, always
immediately.
something
Like,
better to find out now than later.
yeah, I mean, I just learned immediately. Like, if I want everybody on the board to know something, I just tell Spain, and Spain will tell everybody on the board. Now, sometimes there's value to that. I personally don't find much value in that type of behavior because I don't want people to know exactly what all my plans are or to think that they know exactly what all my plans are. Because then, maybe they'll stab me off that. Maybe it'll be annoying. Maybe, whoever thinks they're being attacked will frantically try to assemble a coalition against me and fearmonger me to the entire rest of the board. I just don't want to deal with that. It's annoying. And annoyances are just terrible.
Yeah. The only person really worthwhile to leak that to would be Ottomans. Like, to everyone else, it's a very small amount of trust you would give with that. And I shouldn't even say trust, because if you end up not attacking the Ottomans, then Spain's information is proven wrong, and they lose trust. So the only person this information is worth really any value to is Ottomans, and leaking it to everyone just kind of isolates you, because I don't know how Spain would expect that to not get back to you, especially before moves are even made.
Yeah, it's like, okay then.
It strikes me as very naive.
Yeah. So on that note, I'll go forward to moves, and we'll see how spring moves go. They go about as expected. This was a
Is
planned
that
bounce.
bounce coordinated?
Yeah, coordinated
Okay.
bounce. Which was kind of necessary to gain Xing's trust here, although it does slightly infringe upon my ability to force turf on.
Jing does go for the turn one stab here. That's interesting.
Yeah, this was I like I forget I almost forgot, but I kind of heard about this, and I just didn't believe this was gonna happen. I was like, yeah, sure, Ching, if you want to go stab Ming right away, then I mean, do it. But it's like, I can't go to bat for this idea because this is not a smart idea. This is this is not what I would recommend.
Well, they're not going to make smart moves. That just works out for you.
Yeah, no complaints, no complaints.
We love to see that.
Yeah. In the West, there are some moves being made that look, like Safoud's moving a bit north, which is a bit annoying in my opinion that this is happening, but I can't say much about it because of this bounce. This was a coordinated bounce between Safavids and Portugal. So, is what it is.
Yeah, Shiraz to Hervat, it's not great for
That
you.
doesn't feel
That means
good.
that they have to send that north to Central Asia.
Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, I actually moved Moscow to Don. Yeah, Moscow to Don, Novgorod to Moscow, so Moscow can go like this, and so I can guarantee that I hold Shash right here. Because
That's a smart move.
Yeah, because I am paranoid at times, especially when my neighbors are being non-committal. And around this time, I also start to hear that Safavid has created a press channel called Eastern Russian Fighters, which contains Mughals, I think, Qing, Tokugawa, and like Inuit and Shoshone.
What, like 6 powers?
Yeah.
7?
So Tokugawa
That's way too many.
Tokugawa tells me about this, then I go to other members of the group chat and I just line up everybody who's in it. And then I'm, and I go to Safavids and I'm like, hey, I heard you made this channel. Don't try to make a coalition against me. That won't work. It's stupid. And for whatever reason, when I'm doing this, I don't try to do the same thing in the West. I don't go to like any of these powers and like just invent that I know about their channel, which in hindsight I could have absolutely done. Because as you'll see, the
There's
West,
part of in a Western Russian fighters
some,
channel.
something like that, yeah. Um, it doesn't really occur to me that this could be happening in the West because my analysis, I still am kind of prioritizing my own analysis of the position and not really thinking how other people could be interpreting it. And I'm sitting here like, there's no way that there's going to be a huge coalition in the West because that's just stupid. Nobody gets anything out of that. I mean, like I still like tactically it's hard to even get any of my centers for like 2 years straight. You have to work to get any centers out of me. So I'm just not really seeing it. Despite all the hints.
Safavi planned to support Ottomans into Shachi here, and had you not moved to Don, you would absolutely have lost that center. That
Yeah,
was a
that's
really
very
smart
possible.
move in the West.
This was my plan from the start. Was because Novgorod doesn't have much value other than this. Like what? I'm not gonna go attack Sweden in year one. I have no attack on Sweden in year one. Under no circumstances can I attack Sweden and succeed.
Under normal games, yes. I somehow managed it in the A2A. That was very much not intentional.
Yeah,
But yeah, normally Sweden is definitely a year two thing.
yeah. The other thing that was kind of weird that I should have picked up on here was that I told both Poland and Sweden that they should bounce each other in the Baltic Sea because the other one might move there, and they didn't. They both just moved away. Sweden doing this especially, I think, should have rung some bells for me. Because like if Poland lands a fleet in Baltic Sea, it's done. Like you are cooked as Sweden. There's nothing to be
The
done at
amount
that
of
point.
trust that they generate by doing this, especially early on, means that they're likely to work together. Um, there's not really a mutual target that in the West. Like I guess maybe Austria long term, but even then, like this is how a anti-Russia alliance begins. It may be a triple, and you could try to squeeze yourself in there, but definitely does not go well for you.
Yeah, it's not ideal. At the same time, Mughals is still kind of non-committal, and there's like a lot of like heeing and hawing about moves in Central Asia, where like Safavids is like you can have Turkestan and yada 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 yada. It was a lot of like I don't understand what the plotting was about. You know?
You need Eagles to bounce Softies and Uzjin here, or Softies are going to go +5, and
Yeah,
there's nothing you can do about it.
yeah, and I'm basically telling Safavids I'm like I'll attack Safavids with you next year. We just like shouldn't let them double. That's a bad idea because then they'll, if Safavids gets big, I mean, they're inevitably going to start causing problems for Mughals at some point down the line.
Yeah,
And Mughals can head that off with one unit because, like, if Mughals bounces him out of Uzgen, what is Safavids going to do to Mughals exactly? Like nothing.
yeah, he won't even be able to build in
In Herat.
Herat, so
Yeah,
the Eagles are pretty fine.
he'll do nothing. He'll sit there and be upset about it, but like whatever. And then I'll attack him because he's been annoying or whatever. At least
Yeah,
it's whatever.
that's the ideal.
But as we go to fall, we'll see that does not happen. Mughals, this was like half coordinated. I didn't like this. I felt like this was stupid. In any case, this is what
Yeah,
happens.
this is signaling to Safavid. It's trying to like pander, I think. Like
Yeah,
he knows that this move isn't going to do anything, but he still wants to like play nice with Safavids, which I don't think is a smart move. I can understand not wanting to attack Safavids, but intentionally angering Russia with this is probably not the best move, especially because they have two on Jarkan now.
yeah. I mean, I can cause problems here if I really want to. I don't really want to fight Mughals. It's like not worth my time. But if I get forced into it, then I get forced into it, and that I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, you need to do what you gotta do.
other thing that happens is I get Chukchis here. I actually sent my fleet from Abadoris just all the way to the east. This was
It's a good idea to get started.
Yeah, just kind of get over here, get Evans, guard Chukchis, maybe should have Cord at some point if I can get away with it. And there's not much better use for this fleet unless I want to like go all the way towards Iceland. But at the start of the game, I'm not thinking about Iceland because I'm just thinking like this is, you know, England wants this, and I can't go fight England. I have nothing to fight England with ever.
Yeah.
This is not something that Russia does really.
What you could do is have I don't know, you're probably thinking about this, I don't remember, but Spitsbergen could go to like Greenland Sea, and then with your Chukchi Sea fleet, you'd have two on Arctic Ocean.
Yes.
And
then
that's a really killer position on North America.
It kills them.
Especially because they're having problems, I think.
Yeah, there's like some fight here. Inuit and Shoshone are killing Athabasca is what's happening.
Oh.
And
wow. Athabasca, I guessed completely wrong.
Actually, I don't know if there's anything to be... I mean, let me zoom in. I don't know if there's much to be done. I mean, this guess is wrong. Like, these guesses are wrong, of course. And I don't think you want to move this. I think you just want to sit still and hope. But, like, there's...
Yeah, the West is about as good as you can get it.
But this was just unsalvageable from the stab, right off the bat.
They have no bills in year one. That's a dead... Athabasca right there.
Yeah, dead as a doorknob. I tried to do press with Athabasca after this point, and I like, you know, kind of explained like, hey, maybe you can become a vassal of France. You know, you're not like dead, but
yeah,
they lose hard, and that's the end of Athabasca.
Yeah, they're not coming back from that one.
This is a kill shot from a regional to another regional, which is rare. You don't see that very often.
Especially not turn one. This is brutal. Yeah. Or this is fall, actually. Still, that's not.
Well, it was foreseen in spring actually because I mean this is pretty. This is pretty clear.
Yeah.
And this is
clear. Better luck next game.
Yeah, I guess I might have had something to do with this by telling Inuit they couldn't have Chukchis, but I will not take any responsibility. This is not my fault. I promise.
No, you're all the way in.
I'm like over here in Siberia. You can't blame this on me. That was totally somebody else's fault. I'm just in Moscow in the cold.
This type of thing doesn't happen with just one man from Europe saying you can't have Chukchi. This type of thing.
This is psychopathic. Okay.
Yeah, this is always going to happen. I think.
I mean, you gotta admire the game.
These three powers just decided to kill this regional immediately, then really there's nothing that you could have done.
Yeah, I mean that they're cooked. That's just that. Other than that, things are pretty typical. I mean, there's the Mughal thing, which is annoying, and it should be a harbinger of what's to come, but I don't see it that way. And then after the fall, negotiations really ramp up with Safavids, because I'm basically trying to figure out, like, is there a coalition against me? And Safavids repeatedly insists that there's not, and I kind of believe him and I kind of don't. I really strongly consider... So I guess we should move in the builds then, right?
Yeah, well, you know about the coalition channel that Safavids made, right?
I know about the eastern one. I don't really know about the western one. I should have figured out that something was going on in this direction based on the moves and this. But I'm still in.
But you know he's not like friendly, right?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like I'm suspicious basically. So. For builds, I spent a really long time evaluating specifically an Astrakhan build because a fleet Safavids can build a fleet down to Tehran and take Caspian, which they do. The builds are not good for me.
No.
But I evaluate whether having a fleet in Astrakhan is worthwhile compared to an army, and I eventually decide that I don't think it is because. Like, even if I bounce in Caspian Sea, like, the fleet doesn't have any other uses. So, like, I can have a fleet in Astrakhan, but then I'm losing Shosh guaranteed. I can't contest that. I can't make them sit there for any period of time. It's just done. There's nothing I can do about that. And the other thing is that if I have a fleet here, and Safavids has a fleet here, and we're just bouncing forever, it makes making peace with Safavids, even like by concessions or just by agreement, much more difficult. And I think that given if there is a coalition against me, that I want to be able to buy people off. And so I decided to build an army here, despite kind of suspecting this whole coalition thing was happening.
Yeah. I kind of had a similar situation go on where it's kind of a prisoner's dilemma. If one of you builds a fleet, it's a pretty killer move against the other. If none of you build a fleet, then peace is pretty easy to make, and it's very easy when soft fleets go their own way and maybe focus on somewhere else. But if you both build fleets, then it's useless. It's just going to balance for the entire game. You can't get rid of it. It's brutal. I'm honestly not sure if it's worth it. If you know some of these building a fleet deck, it's worth it to just have another fleet that'll just bounce them forever. I'm if you just think soft fleet's starting, if you think it's just them that you're dealing with, then you could probably pull Moscow now. Because then they just send your bench up to Tsaritsyn.
I mean, if it's just Safavids dealing with, then building the fleet is still worth it, because eventually what you want to do if you're fighting Safavids is you want to pull a fleet this way and then build a second one, and then control this guaranteed and force something.
But then they just build a second fleet in.
Yeah, you have to manage it carefully, because they can build two.
It's not a fun border.
Yeah, you don't say.
And obviously these Ottoman fleets and Swedish armies aren't great either.
Yeah, these are clearly hostile. And it's apparent to me after Bill's a coalition exists, both because I already knew Safavids tried to make one in the east, and because I confront Sweden about it, and Sweden decides that it's to their benefit to start leaking the coalition's moves to me.
Yeah, so Poland's also in on it?
Poland is in on it, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Poland's the one I think can most easily be pulled the other direction.
In positionally, yes, but player-wise, no, because the Polish player is kind of inactive. And as time goes on, Safavid seems to have a pretty good pull on Poland in any case, and so does Sweden, which is odd. I find Poland's behavior during this game and the people they decided to trust rather odd, just as a rule, but we can get to that later. You'll see the moves later on. You'll understand why I find that questionable.
Yeah. We'll see how things go with Poland, and this works out for them or not.
Yes. So Sweden is leaking coalition moves to me. They're not entirely accurate. He gets a few wrong. He intentionally gets a few wrong sometimes, so I'm not fully trusting it. But most of it lines up, as you'll see in moves, where I get a pretty good shot. And in the east, I build a decent amount over here still, because if I'm going to have a good chance at getting through this game, I'm going to have to go and kill Qing right away.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm aiming at, is kill Qing, which is brutal.
It's gotta happen eventually.
It's brutal. Qing.
And I think Death War means now is your best time.
Yeah, I mean, if I can, so Qing still trusts me. If I can get Qing to move these armies out of the way and just get them away from his own home centers, then I can get away with taking 3 or 4 centers in 1 year, which I will need if I'm fighting 5 people or 4 people, because Mughals wouldn't join this coalition, right?
No, of course not.
There's no reason
they don't get dots out of it, so
they at most get 1 dot out of it, and I mean, is that really worth it?
Most people would say no.
Most people would say, let Safavids get bogged down in a war of attrition on their northern border.
I think that's the reasonable decision to make.
Yes, I happen to agree. So on that note, I'm going to go to spring, and we're going to see just how fun this can get. Because in spring, all
Oh,
hell breaks loose. Oh yeah.
yep.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, Sweden leaks some moves. He gets this Poland one wrong, with where Poland was moving his unit. I'm not sure if that's Poland getting it wrong or Sweden getting it, or yeah, if that's Poland moving against the plans or if that's just Sweden being wrong. I have to imagine. I think it's Poland moving wrong if I had to guess based on tactics, because you'd rather
Yeah.
have the armies here, here, and here to pressure this, and just like have 5 units there and guarantee it.
There's not really an advantage to you being in a Goro. I mean, it's how I pronounce that. It's not really an advantage to getting you slightly out of position there.
Yeah. I do some fancy tactics down here in the south, based on Sweden's intelligence and because this is just the best set of moves in my opinion.
That's solid.
Yeah, get 3 surrounding Shash. He can only, he can't. Safavid doesn't get much here because it. Now that I've done this, they max out at 1, 2, 3 units against Shash. I have 1, 2, 3, and he has a unit in Caspian. But if he but he can either cut Tsaritsyn or Astrakhan, right? So it's like a 50-50.
Yeah.
But I can, or actually, I misdrew this. I have armies here, here, and here. So he can take a 50-50 on cutting, but like on the whole, it's just not particularly useful, because if he takes that 50-50, then he doesn't get through Kazakh, because I have an army here and one here to hold. And he only has 1, 2, 3. So it's all a wash, really, is the tactical.
Yeah. You have a pretty good setup against Socrates here. Not perfect, but there's isn't really perfect possible in this situation. It's just too early.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is about as good as you're gonna get, I think.
Yeah, this was.
And did you know about Sweden attacking up north?
I did, but my essential calculation here was that if Sweden actually did move against me, then Novgorod was gone and Astrakhan would be saved, and that's about all I could manage. I can't hold Novgorod against the
Three
Swedish
armies
attack.
are just too much to deal with on top of everything else.
Yeah. I did consider initially, when I felt this coalition was coming, just like pulling back to kind of this line and just saying, okay, whatever, you guys can come forward, but how are you going to get any more? But I decided to be a nuisance in the west, both because I like dots, and because Cassandra in my void was like, hey, you should make their lives hell. And I said, oh yeah, that's we should do that. And the
I think that's the right call.
Yeah, I mean, retreating was... It was a doomer thing before I examined the tactics properly and said, oh yeah, I can just like kind of do whatever I like here, really.
If you're annoying and you take way too long to die, then the probability of somebody thinking that it's not worth their time anymore goes up. Once you start giving them progress, then they're going to start wanting more and more. And that defensive line, while it is a good defensive line, it's going to be pretty hard to hold without all the Western dots to support it.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, in the east, actually, before we go to the east, somebody decided to move an army towards me.
Oh.
Which is really annoying.
Well, they don't even set up 2 on Turfan. This makes no sense.
Yeah,
it's just needlessly antagonizing Russia for no gain.
Yeah, because he still moves an army this way. I don't understand this at all. This is completely...
Yeah, like, if you're gonna stab Russia, at least make sure you get a dot out of it.
At least have armies here and force me to give up Turvan. I mean, I guess maybe his thinking was it wasn't gonna force me. He would just be annoying here. Because, if I don't stab Ching, then I have 2 units to hold.
Yeah.
But anybody with a brain can tell you I'm stabbing Ching here. Like, hello, I built an army.
Oh, I don't think Ching could.
Well, I mean, I was doing a lot of press with Ching. Ching thought we were best buddies.
I'm sure. And you would never lie to anyone like that.
I am a paragon of virtue. Okay, I do not lie. I may mislead people and stretch the truth very, very, very far. But lying is... I would never do that.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm sure Ching just had it wrong somewhere.
Yeah, so Ching is dead. Ching is just dead in this position. There's nothing.
Yeah.
Gone.
All their neighbors are attacking them. That's game over.
Yeah, I mean, it's done. And it's kind of sad. And Ching spends the rest of this game futilely trying to get me to make bad moves and to manipulate me into lowering my guard. But I already made that mistake in A2 Aster against Damian Reeve, who I killed and then tried to work with. So it's not going to work this time. I'm going for the kill.
Makes sense.
So, Ching player, if you're listening, you can thank Damian Reeve for your untimely death. Or at least,
Wow.
or for your inability to get back at me in any way. Because that's why.
I think it generally is better to be as ruthless as you can. Generally, like, I don't know. Most of the times when I attack somebody and then try to make peace with them, like later on, it doesn't work out. 9 times out of the 10, it's a ploy that you make bad moves and to get themselves back into the game by attacking like 3 dots that way.
Well, the other thing is
And on
that
the off chance it's not, they'll just attack you later on, and it's not really worth it.
well, the important thing to think of it is it's kind of goes back to some points about new players you made earlier. Is that what happens when you get experience with diplomacy, and you can also probably speak to this, is you kind of just build up like an immunity to the like the personal aspect of it, and you'll realize very over time, either whether it's quickly or slowly, you will realize over time that people will lie to you, people will absolutely backstab you in any way they can, but it's not like personal. It's not like I came in here and I said, you Ching, I hate you, I'm going to ruin your day specifically because I don't like you. It's just like I had a good chance to take your dots and I did, and that's
Yeah,
that.
it's just dots, and we like dots.
That's the nature of the game, and you gotta live with it. And so it's easier, I find, to turn more experienced players into junior partners after you stab them, because they kind of recognize that, and they also want dots, and they want long-term secure dots, as opposed to I can take your dot, and then they get like murdered from behind by somebody else because they're effectively throwing with their moves. Things like that.
Yeah, you need somebody who's not going to take it personally and so, like, evaluate their position and try to do the thing that gets them the most dots, even if it is a little
Bitter.
distasteful at first.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Ching is probably not this type of player. It's not yet.
Yeah, and like we're saying, it's not personal, Ching. It's just business.
Just dots.
Yep. I think that's about it for spring or fall. Wait, spring. This is spring of the second year. We can just take a look at the rest of the world, because there are other people in this game other than me. Sweden is kind of moving towards England, which is a bad sign for England, and also foreshadowing for why England and I are going to get along so well, is because Sweden.
This is a pretty nice Sweden position. That second Polish fleet isn't great, but I'm surprised Poland built a fleet and then didn't go after Sweden here.
Yeah. I guess if you go after Sweden, you want to build 2 fleets. You want to have fleet here. So Poland would have actually had a decent shot at Sweden here by doing this with fleets, and really getting into the position. But Poland elects to do this whole coalition Russia thing instead, which will get him up. It will get him
1 dot stab is worth it. I'm sure.
It will get him literally 0 dots, because the last dot of any of my dots west of this line that gets taken is Moscow. So, it's not happening. It is not happening.
Just really wants it.
Yeah. And I actually tried to buy him off around this time, and his response was, if you give me Moscow, I'll join you. And I was like, that was my just a sigh. It's like, come on. Like, are you, like, the way...
Moscow is the center of any defensive line you can possibly put up in the West, too. Like, if Moscow falls, then your line...
And if you ever have Moscow, I'm always going to be your enemy.
Yeah.
Like always. There is no peace with anyone who has Moscow. That is a permanent, blood bond,
Like
but rather than the blood bond
in the
being like
game
brotherhood,
itself,
it's
you
death.
have to have Moscato win.
Yeah, I have to have Moscato win. This is the most important center on the board for me. So when he says that, I'm like, okay, I can't buy Poland off or whatever. I'll bribe other people to get out of this coalition, and I will. Other than that, let's see. We'll just look across the board. I wasn't paying too much attention, to other areas on the board because I was a little preoccupied,
Yeah,
as it were.
just a little bit.
So there's like some foolishness with Mali. For some reason, Portugal is working with Mali. This is a bad idea if you're Portugal.
I'm sure it'll work out fine for them. Mali would never attack
Yeah.
a colonial power.
It's not like every single game that Mali doesn't get immediately bodied by all of their neighbors. It's not like every single time they're free to act. They don't just like throw every colonial off the continent. Oh wait, that's what happens every single game. But this time will be different. We promise.
It's really funny to me that in the Blitz games, Mali just immediately died from the colonial powers because they all know that it's the best thing for them to do.
Yeah.
And somehow in these long form games, Mali's able to like wheedle their way in.
Yeah, like the colonials like convinced themselves like, no, Mali wouldn't kill me. He'll just kill all the other colonials and leave me alone. It even happened, and this is, like an aside, it happened in the Ice Cream Invitational with the experienced players. Quicksand, who's a very good player on Portugal, just lets Bumble on Mali exist and live and thrive. And it's really stupid.
I don't get it. Like the African colony as Portugal especially is just really valuable too. Because Portugal, like England and Poland can't connect that to their naval battle, but Portugal can.
Yeah, this is your
Portugal really wants that foothold.
Yeah, so I played Portugal during the Blitz, and in my opinion, this is like it's either your best or your second best colony. I think this is your best colony as Portugal. This is your best shot at having a big colony. Because you can tell every other colonial in the region, we need to work together to kill Mali, and then whenever Mali is dealt with or is appropriately weakened, you just immediately knife Poland in the back and you take their stuff. Yep. And if you time it properly, Poland has there's no counterplay for Poland for that. Their units get force disbanded.
Well, especially because if you get the anti-Mali coalition going, Poland has to build armies.
Yes.
And you have Cabo Verde, so you're building fleets. So that's a nice excuse to be able to have fleets around Poland.
Or like
and
you're
the second that you don't need Poland anymore.
Or you're building an army here, and then you can convoy it across and be like, "Look, I'm helping. I'm helping."
And just conveniently surrounding Poland while helping.
Yes, very good ally. But they don't do that, so Mali is having a very good time. Other than that, there's like some fight going on here between Congo and Portugal, but Congo's just always going to win. Unless Portugal is either pumping units from like this direction or getting help from the Netherlands, it's just not going to work. Especially when Ajuran is doing this type of behavior going south.
Yeah, Portugal's not going to have a great game here.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Portugal.
Eagles are having a hard time in their area though.
Also, they like do this weird thing in the Straits. I think they move Rustak. I forget. I tell them to move the Straits of Hormuz because I know Safavids will get greedy and go for this, but I think this is a move to Muscat, which is like
why? I
can't. It's incomprehensible.
One has agree to give up Rostov. It makes no sense.
It's incomprehensible. Because this is the only way you lose both centers at once, and if you do this, you keep both of them. Safavids.
I don't think Portugal is going to be a real power.
No, Portugal. Speaking of.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, Portugal, but it's over. It's not.
Yeah.
It is not a Portugal game.
Yeah, Portugal had a nice try.
I'm sorry, Portugal.
Better luck next time.
Well, yeah, they do have allies in South America. But for some reason, instead of
I don't think that's gonna last very long.
So just for reference, everybody, Salt likes to say C dot take dot. So you have eyes here. You go, ooh, Oh, I see a dot. But Portugal, little known fact, Portugal is wearing like really, really heavy like sunglasses or something like this, and it obstructs. Wait, actually, I can do a different color. He's wearing the sunglasses that obstruct the vision. I can only draw square glasses, right, like this, right? And
So like got like blinders on.
Obstructs the vision. He's blind. Yeah, he's blind. And so he goes the wrong direction. He goes up here, but you can't see these dots. They're hidden behind fleets and armies.
I think Portugal just want to be nice and let Aymara have it, and Aymara want to be nice.
Yeah, I mean these guys.
And now, no one gets it.
No one gets it. Yep.
I'm sure that was the plan from the beginning. If Portugal gets too many dots, they may like, and we can't have that. So
the other thing that happens is Spain forces Aymara to retreat from Peru Basin, but does not cover Lima.
Oh, and we see the Galapagos Corps. I hate that. I don't know if for anyone watched the Blitz 2 commentary. Only core with an explicit plan in mind on how to use said core. Galapagos is kind of fine because it's right on the South Pacific, but
the only use of Galapagos is to attack Mapuche. It's the only thing that core does is you can go and attack Mapuche a little quicker. But you are a colonial, okay? So like regionals, you core, you can kind of accept it because if you're getting big gains as a regional, you might need to have a lot of builds. Like in my current game, as Aymara in a different diplomacy game, I have 5 builds and 4 cores. So you can understand why I want a core in that game. But like you have so many places you can build units. You do not need any more.
Yeah, because the colonial coring is almost never something you want to be doing. Galapagos has so many options. And coring is probably like the lowest priority option. Like it's only slightly better than a hold.
I'll just propose one option you could do. You could do this, and then Quito could go to Lima, right? And then the Aymara fleet can't go to Lima.
Well, then it just retreats up to Quito, though.
Ignore that. Listen. I'm a very.
There were definitely like you could go to the South Pacific and then like come up through like Nazca Ridge.
Yeah, I mean there are.
Kind of try that.
Yeah, you can go like down over there and then back this way or something.
Yeah, like maybe you hold because you don't want to reach Galapagos, but if you were worried about that, you would have covered the other core that Aymara can retreat to.
You go that way.
Yeah. Just out of Mapuche, that's the way to do it.
I mean, there's just so many things you can do with the fleet. But you decided to sit still.
That doesn't inspire me with hope about Spain's game.
Well, the leaking probably didn't either, to be fair.
Oh yeah, the hold in I don't know what center that is, but
Saltillo.
Yeah, I don't love that one either.
Why are you moving this way but not like you can? There are so many options. So yeah, like I said, PSA to everybody watching at home: move your units places. Put any which way. You can move units any which way. Just don't sit still. Because a unit sitting still, unless you're like doing this, doing a fight. If a unit is just sitting still, like sleeping in the middle of nowhere, it's useless. There is no purpose.
Momentum and tempo is very hard to get back once you've lost it. And a good way to lose it is by doing things like this.
A good way to lose it is by telling your units that they need to take a siesta in the spring.
Yeah. Generally, it's not the best idea. Your army should be constantly marching to conquer new lands.
Amigo, por favor, no tienes que, what is it? I did Spanish a while back, but I don't think in it very well.
Better than my Spanish.
I forget. No tienes que dormir. Necesitas atacar. Ute. Sí. I mean, like, can you imagine how good a stab here would have been? You just like, you just get,
Yeah,
you just get this dot for free.
it could have been pretty nice to see.
I mean, it's he was so
Yeah.
Spain had eyes. He's like looking for the dot, but he's wearing like a sombrero or something, so he can't see the dot up there. That's blocked. That vision's blocked. So he looks to the nearest dot, which is like Cherokee.
Right. C dot, take dot. He's took the wrong dot.
Yeah, he was looking at this dot. This is too far away. He had the opposite problem with the glasses. The glasses were too good.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's still a dead Athabasca, but the tactics are okay.
Yeah.
These tactics are fine. This'll keep you going a little while longer. Although, I don't understand this. There's no.
I mean, what else do you do with that army? To be fair, maybe you block. Okay, yeah, you block the move to
Well, you can't block Nunavut.
Nunavut.
But you can like go up.
No, you could have bounced that.
You can't because it's being supported by this fleet.
Oh, it is the sport.
But
yeah.
But you could put the unit up here, and you kind of you go, hey Inuit, maybe I'm gonna go here. And I mean, you don't. You never do. You still go back. But like, you can. Kind of dance around a little bit.
I won't give Athabasca too much shade because you are just dead here. It doesn't really matter how
That's true.
your tactics are. You're not going to beat like 8 armies with only 4.
You know what? Actually, I want to retract my my criticism of Athabasca because Athabasca saw the dot and Athabasca went to take the dot. Okay, this is much better behavior than we have from a lot of other players on the board, and we have to give them credit here.
True. They're not holding. They're not coring.
Athabasca saw the dot.
It could be worse.
Saw that dot right there. Yep.
Gotta respect it.
Indeed. Then like Inuit is giving France support into a center for some reason. I don't understand.
Yeah, it's
like
interesting.
Like France is being actively mauled by England. You just take centers, man. You can take.
Yeah, just take dots.
Nobody is like forcing you to sit still and not do anything. It's not like you're not in timeout in first grade. You can move around and do stuff.
Yeah, like take a side,
Yeah.
Have an opinion on it.
Well, I mean, clearly he's picking the French side and trying to fight England, but I don't understand why you would do that.
You take England is not who I would attack in this situation.
And you should not pick a fight with England right off the bat. That's like the worst guy to pick a fight with because they just dump fleets into the Atlantic.
Oh yeah, and they have like 2 dots you take, and they're the most like easily defended dots in the entire game. Like no, just attack France.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that's a recap of what's happening everywhere. Oh yeah, Ottomans and Abyssinia are having some sort of fight. I kind of.
That's fun.
Yeah, I mean it's whatever. I mean Ottomans are at least making themselves a little busy. Yeah, I'm not certain they've picked all the right targets. Oh my! I just noticed.
Hey God, look at Sicily.
Why? I've seen this like 3 times in games. People just put armies on Sicily. It's the worst spot to have an army. This is such a pivotal tile. You can project power in any direction, anywhere. You can do anything with this army, with this tile, with a fleet on this tile. You can do anything. An army here is asleep. It is dead. This is a useless army.
Maybe they really wanted to keep the Ionian Sea fleet,
Yeah, it's not like they could have, I don't know, moved this one right here.
No.
That's not. You can't.
No, that was never gonna happen.
No, that's off limits. You can't. Why do you need a fleet in Levantines? As you can see, we're having a really good time here in the after action report. So far for notes for new players, we have don't hold your units in place. Actually, that's a good one. Don't hold your units in place without doing anything. Right here especially. Don't hold your units. We have don't convoy armies into spots where only fleets can be of use. So you don't want armies in Sicily, you don't want them in Sardinia, you don't want them in Corsica, you don't want them in the Baleares, or the Canaries or Azores. You get the idea.
Subscribe for more tips like this.
Yeah,
Very helpful advice, I'm sure.
very helpful. Use your units and don't make them useless. Riveting stuff. So I guess with that we can go to the fall, where I get Iceland because England is busy and England just says, yeah, you can have it.
That's nice of them.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna ask any questions. I'm just gonna take Iceland and I have a dot.
You saw a dot, and you took the dot.
Yeah. This is the point at which the coalition begins to break apart, because I've been kind of working my fingers through it for a while. I've been kind of doing a lot of press. I've been talking to people, and I also kind of blundered here. I won't lie, in one specific way. I lose Bekçusaray here to this convoy when I absolutely did not have to. I could have just had Dawn support Holdus, and it would have been fine. And I lost it, so that's whatever. The long and short of it is that Sweden kept leaking me moves, and this is just sort of a long pattern in my relationship with Sweden, which is they will say, hey, let's do this thing, and we can do X thing specifically to build trust between us, and then they will not do that thing, and will make my position slightly worse, right? So, here, they said, I'll take Novgorod, because I just can, but then we can bounce on Arkhangelsk, and that way we can still look like we're fighting, but then we can go attack Poland, right?
Right.
So
I'm guessing he just didn't want you to build in Arkhangelsk?
Yeah, he just didn't want
to
build.
But you were gonna go to Moscow anyways.
Hello? So, it's a little bit of trust lost. I'm like, okay, well, I can't really trust much of what Sweden says, but I don't have much of a choice in the matter, because...
Oh, no, he's doing it because he wants Spitsbergen, because he's moving to Norwegian Sea, too.
He doesn't get Spitsbergen, because I just built a fleet here, and, no.
Well, you can take it in... Yeah, I think in spring, but... Yeah, you just took that right back.
Yeah, you don't get anything out of this, except making me a little bit annoyed. But of course, Poland's demand for peace is Moscow. So, Sweden by default has a good hand here, just because of that. I also...
Yeah, Poland's only attacking you with one unit, though.
Yeah. I did get Safavids to craft the moveset of the coalition to be good for me here. The long and short of it is that I offered Safavids Astrakhan. I told him he could put the fleet there and we could be at peace, because I don't have many other options at this point with regards to Safavids. From here on, if I want to kill Safavids, I have to lull them into a false sense of security and then stab them extremely hard with builds.
Yeah.
I don't really have any...
Nassau is a tough spot to really pull off, too.
Yeah, it's I can do it. I'm very capable of just, brutally stabbing someone and killing them on the spot. It's just, not my first... Or it is my first choice, but it's not very easy. So...
Yeah, you gotta get Safavids to not attack you, and then you have to get Safavids to commit somewhere else. Then you have to get Safavids to get into a point where they're not doing so well that they'll be constantly near you. And then you have to have builds yourself and the ability to spare those builds for attack on Safavids.
Yeah.
Very hard position to navigate towards.
And then, if I ever fight Safavids and I don't get the perfect stab in, I'm at war with them forever, and I don't get any dots out of it, and I can't expend anywhere else. So I'm always going to be very reluctant to do that in any case. So yeah. Also, for another move that I induced...
Eagles, what are you doing?
I just so happened to try to leak it to a couple of people that I was gonna, maybe I was gonna merge a unit into Turfan. So...
This is just the position that he could have been in and bring and then stab you and fall. I don't. This makes no sense. He could have had a position to turn earlier.
Yep. Also, for what it's worth, I only gained one center in this position. So this move was what gained me a center. I would have been even if
That's always fun.
Yeah, so it's good. I do some weird tactical BS with Ching to like guarantee my centers because I've played this game for a while and I win.
Yeah, that's 2 centers plus the neutral. It's pretty solid.
This is sustaining
And
me. This getting that knife in, like I said.
yeah, Japan's taking another one off them. Oh no, 2 off them. Yeah, that's
Well, Japan misplays tactics here pretty badly, in my opinion. Leaves open Ezo. You get Sahalion, but this is just not very good because you're gonna have to devote a bunch of resources to getting it, and there's still gonna be a fleet around to counter harass you. It's like I mean, I would have just forced Action Y and guarded Ezo, personally, because you can always get fleets in this way.
Building.
I mean, yeah, it's not terrible. It's just like it could have been better.
Yeah.
Also, this is the start of Ching spiting.
Is pretty good.
This is the start of Ching just spiting me specifically, at the expense of, say, other dots you could acquire. Because if Ching had done this, you just get Beijing.
That was such an obvious move.
Yeah.
And what does tapping Dove get you? You lose a curate.
It only gets anything if I mess up my tactics, which I do not often do. I mean, I did do it on this turn, so I mean, it's not like the worst idea to think that I could.
That hurts to see though. That was a guaranteed dot that they passed up on.
Yeah, I mean, I actually so to be honest, it wasn't guaranteed because like you could do this. But Ming didn't, so awkward.
Yeah. Yikes.
But in that case, I'm not sure why you're even supporting this move in the first place if you're not cutting Shaanxi. It's the only thing this unit's going to do is hold. So it's all a wash.
Oh.
I mean, I guess Shaanxi could have taken Hahut and this would have just collapsed immediately, but I mean, whatever. I'm not too torn up about it. In other news, Portugal gets Hainan back because the Dutch
somehow.
Yeah, I don't know. The Dutch try to like stab them or something. This makes no sense to me. I don't know what the Dutch are doing, and I am not too concerned about it. The Dutch and the Spanish are like fighting for whatever reason. Who knows, really? And they also, I don't get it. I don't. That's the wrong move. You gotta bounce out of the center. So yeah.
That's fun.
Nothing ever happens.
Well, that's a fun map, I think. The Colonials are doing moves.
Oh, the Mapuche land a convoy in Cape Koe, which is like funny, but not particularly like good. I feel like I feel like you could have done this and this, and it would have been more effective. Or like this, and then you can cover Cordoba when you do this. Just pointing little things out. But on the whole, it's funny. So good enough, right? Also,
yeah, if it works, it works.
Mapuche stops Spain from coring Galapagos. And it's all for nothing.
Yeah. That makes it so much worse.
It makes it so much better.
And Spain loses a dot to
Spain loses Exora. Yep.
And Ira's Valley too.
I mean, I guess
Spain tried.
Yeah, this is the guaranteed pathway, but like you could have held in place, supported by this, and then done this. And the thing about a move set like that is that you are most likely going to end up with the same amount of dots, right? It's gonna be even, but your upside is better. So if the other side makes moves like the ones they do in this position, then you're gonna end up keeping all the dots. Keeping all the dots. I can pronounce things, and you're gonna have a much better time. But they don't. Tragic.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what Spain expected to happen, or what they said to be, but I clearly guessed wrong.
And then, like, for some reason, this is a real fight between Spain and England, and I don't know why. I I don't know.
Yeah.
I,
And they're stabbing Utah too, while also fighting England.
yeah, they took off
That's
their
a choice.
sombreros and they could see north and they could see the dot.
And of course, Utah still builds too, because
Yeah, because
why?
Because
Oh God, Spain! No, this is not how you do it.
you're supposed to stab when they can't build, or to stab such that they are not able to build.
Yeah, typically you don't want people to be able to respond to your stabs with builds.
You don't want to walk
And
up
Utah
into
gets
their...
into Sonora. Oh God, Spain! No,
Yep.
this is not it.
I'm sorry, Spain. But it must be done.
Athabasca, did they live this year? Oh no, they keep 1 dot.
Yeah, they
Nice.
exist. They keep 2 dots. This one too as well. 1, 2. And because Athabasca saw this dot, France sees their dot and helps Athabasca into it. Which is mean.
Yeah, that's
And-
brutal.
And Inuit is coring. There's no... That's not good.
Anyway, you could have done
I mean,
so many things
so-
with that. Like,
so like now it makes sense to core now that you've given up your chance of getting a dot with that unit. But you
you could have also supported yourself to straight at Belle Isle. Like
Well, it's
that if you're gonna
it's an army.
nuke there.
That's an army.
Well, yeah, fair.
But you
But
could have
still.
gone this way in spring, and you could have brought like a fleet down there, and then you would have had dots. See, it's dots.
I liked the plan to kill Athabasca here. I think it's pretty good move for anywhere, but the follow through needs some work, I think.
The follow up of do anything France says is not quite it.
Yeah, that one needs some work, I think.
Yes. England is continuing to maintain a strong presence on the Isles.
God, then why do they have 2 armies? Where did the second army come from?
They built an
Did
army.
they build an army just to not do?
Yes.
Oh wow, that's
I mean, I assume they
I
wanted to
don't like that.
to convoy it, but you don't.
Surely
You just never get to do
they
that.
don't actually convoy.
You never get to do that as England because France always has like a bajillion armies, and by the time you get there, either Austria's got there or Spain has got there or the Dutch have got there. You never get. You just don't. You don't.
Yeah, if you're convoying anywhere, it's to like Sweden,
Yeah, it's this way.
which you want a fleet in North Sea to pull off,
And you'd want
or
like a
just
fleet,
fleets in
or
general.
like fleets here and here. But
They have like 2 fleets defending all the home isle centers.
classic.
Need some work.
Yep. And like Poland also picked a fight with Austria during all of this, which I don't get.
I don't think they get dots out of it. Doesn't look like they get much dots out of it though.
They get 1 dot specifically, not dots plural, dot singular.
Yeah, there's no backup coming from France either.
Yeah, and Austria builds, by the way.
Hey, the Sicily army tried to support.
It tried to support, but that's not how the game works. That's not how this. That's not how it happens.
They're helping. They're
Listen,
doing
unless-
their part.
Listen, unless the problem here is that you can't build armies in the Levant, so the army. I'm sorry to report, the army on Sicily is not, in fact, Jesus Christ. It cannot walk on the water.
Oh, the Tripoli fleet goes to the Eastern Med here. Levantine Sea. This goes back to.
Just goes back that way. I mean, so
They doesn't even get in too.
if there was a fleet here and a fleet here, like we suggested, you could have done this, supported by this, and then in the next season, you would have had a fleet here and a fleet here and a fleet here, and you'd be pretty well positioned to just go this way and do anything. But
I'm starting to question what the plan was.
I Yeah, I think that's a good
Like
way to...
I guess this could have been a lot faster. They still did tricky things and they was forced. But like, uh, this could have been better.
But with proper moves, you could be forcing Sardinia in spring. But now you can't. Now I'm not sure you
Yeah,
force Sardinia at
and
all
Spain
next
is
year.
convoying more and more armies
Yeah,
to Africa. This war is not going to go anywhere anytime soon.
yeah. I mean, this is just a stalemate now, really. So, what a
Yeah,
time.
that or Ottomans just loses.
Yep. So builds, builds.
How many bills do you have?
I have two because I got force disbanded right here. So I build a fleet in Shash. This is by agreement with Safavids to get them to stop.
Yeah. And
And
fleet Shosh is just a good idea too, I think.
I build a fleet in Obdorsk because Sweden, you're not going to be holding on to Spitsbergen. That's not happening. Also, Portugal's like in Greenland Sea for some reason, but I talked to Portugal and they're like not hostile. They're just creative.
I think it's recommended bouncing Sweden and Spitsbergen. That could be pretty nice.
I didn't do that, but I do get a bounce later down the line with Sweden, so you'll see.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fun.
I can maintain my units in the east. I would have liked to build an army somewhere in the vicinity, but I just don't have the capacity for it. Safavids builds armies and fleets down here, which is, not great, but whatever he has built, he has to use them. I was hoping for an army in Herat to go that direction immediately and cause problems, but that's not going to happen. In other news, Ming rebuilds 3 armies in their core.
I'm surprised Ming had 3 builds in this situation. They must have disbanded a lot during
Disbanded retreats. Let's see. Yeah, so this one would have gotten axed by force. Actually, that's.
Are they seriously coring Okinawa? No. Okay, never mind. I feel no sympathy
no
or
sympathy
admiration for.
Yeah. What an experience.
That's. Well, we just not pay attention to Ming in that case.
Yeah, Qing makes clear their vendetta by getting rid of their fleets first.
Makes sense.
Yep. Poland builds an army and Sweden builds 2 fleets. I did tell Poland beforehand that he should consider building a fleet in Danzig or he was going to get murdered by Sweden. And you can see about how much he listened to me, which was not at all.
Yeah. Well, maybe Sweden will stab him and he'll fall in line.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know what else is important for builds. Oh yeah, Fleet Tripoli, that's a thing. I don't think too heavily about that.
I think an army there is better for Ottomans.
Yes, almost certainly. Because you
Yeah.
like this stuff and then
We'll see how that works out for them.
Yeah. So spring moves. So Sweden continues to try to attack me because I don't know, they're dumb. They're not dumb. Sorry, that's mean. That's quite mean. But it feels dumb to do this, to continue to try. He also, you remember how we were talking about how you don't like put armies on islands generally?
But they're supporting the fleet end. It's so good.
Look at that.
I can kind of see what Sweden's thinking here, because this is no, I can't. Never mind. Because they want like 2 fleet. They want like 2 strength on Spitsbergen. This isn't over. This is way too much work just to hold Spitsbergen. It's not even really guaranteed.
And you don't hold it. I can force you out of it anyways. There's nothing you can do to hold that dot.
Yeah, you just move from Barents Sea. Yeah, like it doesn't even work.
I do this and I support it with fleets here and here, and you lose.
And that army gets popped.
Yeah, I wasn't born yesterday.
And I guess if you want the army popped, that's a good way to go about it.
But there are much better ways to get builds back, like taking dots.
Well, if you can't take dots, then do this.
Yeah. I also bounce all of Sweden's moves over here because I was not born yesterday.
Yeah.
This like
I hate when that
bounce or
happens.
whatever Safavid's like apparently is suspicious that I'm not gonna give Astrakhan like I agreed, which is weird because I mean whatever. And, like, this is obviously not my fault that this happened. It's not my
Yeah.
fault that Sweden tried to move. I forget if this was a stab
What
by
is
Sweden.
happening around Shachi?
Uh,
Or
Ottomans is supporting himself in. I'm supporting Safavids that way, and Safavids is supporting me to hold. I think the bot just rendered these two hold orders in separate places, but this is supporting this to
okay.
hold, and it's whatever.
So okay, Sophies are starting Ottomans then.
Yes.
So I guess you two in that
And
making
this is
case.
a brutal stab, by the way. Ottomans have level
Oh
those
wow.
completely open. Like, this is.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll do it.
that will do it. Um,
Oh, they're
I
losing against
I
Abyssinia too.
I do get told by Ottomans later in the line that one of the reasons, the big reasons they decided to attack me was because I want to quote. I want to quote his reasoning here. I have Discord. God, this is. Sorry, Discord's annoying. I'm trying to figure out. Yes. He said, saw a name I recognized and went with the first person who agreed with me to go after it, and kept doing so. So yeah. In other news, when you see a big name, don't just immediately kill them. That doesn't work.
That's really. Oh my god.
Yes.
That's.
I'll just post a screenshot in our private DM song. You can read the quote for yourself.
Let's see this. Well, I get being intimidated by a big name, but that's not the way I would handle it.
Gotta play the position. Well, you play the players and the position, but you don't play the players before you've played with the players. You know, the whole thing. So yes, Ottomans now dies, and I get like nothing out of this, which is annoying. And it's part of Safavid's machinations, obviously, and I don't have much choice but to go along with it right now. But as Safavid surely knows, I will be standing over his shoulder with a knife, ready for him to hunch over and to stab him in the back. In other news, the tactics against Ching get kind of annoying. I out-tactic him here for the most part. Yeah, I like cut his support and do all sorts of shenanigans, but I basically end up with a slightly better position for the fall because I get armies here and here as well as these three. Only problem is that Mughals decides to finally take that dot, so it's going to be annoying to deal with. And I can figure out at this point, and I get told explicitly later on, the Mughals is pretty much directing Qing's moves now, because Mughals is for some reason still hellbent on fighting me. I don't get it. I feel like it's
He's really putting a lot of effort into attack
yeah,
right there.
like I don't I don't get it. There's no point. Ming
And
NMRs.
Mari too.
Ming NMRs. Yeah, Qing is moving. Ming is not doing anything.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I there are several questions raised by these orders.
Yes.
Uh
That's one way of putting it.
Tokugawa coring Koryax feels bad.
We're just both
Koryax is a useful core for Russia. Tokugawa. They already have a core on North Pacific. Yeah, I mean, these moves around the east feel pretty solid about what you could do.
Yeah. Let's see, what is it? Spring. Elsewhere on the board, there's more fighting, and like Portugal is losing here, which we predicted immediately when that started happening. Portugal is going to be stabbed here by Mali in about 2 seconds. And let's see. Yep, there's no Mapuche attack, but like Aymara also tries to stab Mapuche for some reason. I don't get it.
Yeah, it's weird.
I mean, this is maybe this is arranged as a bounce, but like I don't understand why that would be arranged as a bounce, because Aymara needs all of the units they can get that direction. or maybe they can core like everyone else. Spain does move Galapagos, but not it's not the direction you want to move it, right?
No, no, it's not. I, I don't think Spain should be allowed for how they misused it the past 3 moves they made with it.
Yeah.
I think Spain just should give the fleet over to someone else.
Let someone else take custody here.
Yeah, it's needed.
Yeah, there's moves in North America that are happening. Like France and Britain are still fighting.
Did you just seriously hold Missouri? Oh my god. Come on, Utah. You're better than that.
You can go this direction and be annoying.
Well, if you want to hold it in case Cherokee moves in, you just move to Cherokee.
Yeah, but yeah,
Like, that's better than a hold.
and Cherokee's not moving because, like, what if England does this? Ooh.
Yeah, this is. Oh, it sucks. I don't like watching this. Like, England and Utah could be against Spain here, but they're not. I don't know why they're not, but they should be.
And
And
yeah,
this is like the easiest alliance in the world. Spain is attacking both of us. Let's work together again. Enough said.
yep.
This is one of the maps of all time.
Inuit goes to convoy in and stab France here, but
Get bounced.
But France self bounces, so none of that works. So just a note to everybody else: if you want to stab somebody,
And they're touring us, Kathy.
do it the old-fashioned way. Okay?
They could just move to right next to Cree, like
You could
overland too.
just done this. Just do this. You get everything, and then
It's a spring turn, right?
and yeah, this is spring. So what you do is you do
Yeah,
this,
so just-
you do this, you do this, and you do this, and then you get this and this guaranteed.
Yeah, it's just
Boom. Done.
why are you coring Nescapi? But that's not even a useful core. It's right next to an existing core.
Like it's like one
I-
season of tempo towards the Atlantic, but you don't.
Well, you're coring Bradahill too, so like it's not even.
Yeah. We're having a good time dissecting these.
I hate the cores.
Stop
Some
coring
people
stuff.
need
Kill,
their
stop
some
co-
people need their coring
Stop coring
privileges
stuff
taken
and
away.
commit murder, okay? Stop coring, start killing.
Fight each other.
Kill. Do something.
Blood for the blood god.
Yeah.
Where are all this moves to New
This is
Amsterdam?
the Dutch are just not able to do anything, so they any unit
Interesting.
that is holding that doesn't have anything useful to do, they're just supporting this idea. And
Okay.
and England is supporting a real move, which is what is this? There. England is supporting that like that.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, it's like these meme moves are kind of annoying because you could have done this and then you would have not lost your capital this year.
Yeah,
Just to be clear, Netherlands, you could have moved Amsterdam to Ghent and you would have kept a center, but you decided not to try.
well, sometimes.
So let us
Actually,
do a
no, I
lesson.
don't have anything for this.
No, there's no. I mean, yeah.
there's no excuse for this.
I'll also note that Jerusalem is not in Amsterdam. This army is not Jesus. You cannot walk on the water.
Yeah, there's nothing to convoy. Of course,
Yeah, no, it's not.
I don't know. This is
Mm-hmm.
well, Dutch. They had a good run in Europe. They sure gave it the old college try.
But they also what were their disbands again? Oh yeah, they just volunteered to disband all their
They-
units in Europe.
No, it's not like they need Amsterdam to win.
You don't need that. No, you can give that away.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean it was a bad year to be Dutch. To be fair, they got slaughtered everywhere. I don't know what the moves were
Oh,
for this,
wow.
but they got slaughtered, man.
Yeah, that is brutal.
Yeah, Anyways, I guess we just go to fall now. We've kind of criticized all the holds enough.
Yeah.
Are there any other holds that we need to like point out and laugh at? Oh yeah, Poland. Poland's scoring Lubeck.
Oh, I'm sure Sweden will be fine with that.
Yeah, no problem there.
Yeah, they'll let that.
Yep, and I think that's actually it for like questionable hold orders. Except for the NMR, which is always questionable. I guess I can kind of point at myself here with this core, but I have nothing better to do with that fleet anyways. So
I think Shachi's a fine core.
yeah,
I mean, if you can get it off, of course.
Yeah,
which it won't let you.
Yeah, Inuit's like, no, you can't do that. And I'm sitting here every season. I'm like, can you let me do this? It's gonna be anti-Tokugawa, and I'm telling Tokugawa it's anti-Inuit, you know. And they
can you even spare the fleet to tap that?
I guess. I mean.
Okay, yeah, they can. okay, Inuit. Sure.
Why are you coring this? There are so many things you can do with a fleet other than core. You don't even get any you don't get any tempo. The only tempo you get out of coring illusions is the potential to stab Shoshone about 5% better.
Like Yute is always gonna control equatorial current except this one turn.
But like if you want to stab Oot, then just do it.
Yeah, why are you moving back to Gina Ina? This makes Inuit no. This makes no sense.
If you want to, good advice, you want to stab somebody, just do it. You don't have to be like, I'm going to core a Lutz, and then when he doesn't see it coming, I'm going to move right here. And then he's actually not going to have any bills this year, so I'm going to get my pick of the centers. Like, that's not how this ever happens.
Utah is in a death war with Spain. They don't have the time to worry about you. I mean, they're also coring Chilcotin for some reason, but we can just ignore that one.
I mean, this is not...
Yeah.
Like,
that one doesn't exist.
No, I mean, I don't understand coring. Anyways, fall moves. Look at that. So Sweden decides to stick the knife into Poland because Sweden gets upset that I'm good at tactics and don't just roll over and give up.
That's always fun.
Yep. And I just get Novgorod back. I did tell Sweden that I was not going to walk into Novgorod to get him to do this. There's no way he didn't think I was lying.
Yeah.
I was 100,000% lying to him about that. And he knew it. There's no, I don't see how anybody in this position is like, oh, no.
Yeah, I don't understand either. He's completely... I guess you got him to stop Poland. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. It's just he gets everything and I get nothing. So it's
Well...
It's
you turn to Poland now and try to get them against Sweden.
I do a little bit.
Maybe that'll go somewhere.
The problem is that Poland still doesn't like me very much, and you'll see how that manifests in the future. It's really funny, but also really sad.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Elsewhere, would you look at what happened? Oh, you came up here and then you got stabbed. Oh, who could have seen this coming? Me. I saw this coming.
This is 2 years of maneuvering to get this one done, and it didn't even work out. They didn't even coordinate with the Qing to support the army, and that's hilarious.
So they get lucky to hold on to all these dots. Basically, this is just the fact that they have a unit here, but they're committing 3 units to hold 2 dots, and the fact that they're forced to support Yarkhan to hold means that they can't do
It baffles me that Eagles are not attacking Qing. They NMR'd last turn. Why are you still working with them?
Or Ming.
Sorry. Oh no, they're spawning Ayutthaya
against... This is Ming NMR'd. Qing did not.
Yeah, they're spawning Ayutthaya into, I guess. But just take the dots yourself.
Yeah.
Suzhou would have been guaranteed.
Just take it. But you can't. Because you had to hold on to Turfan, which is just out in the middle of nowhere. La-di-da-di-da. I mean, I'm biased, obviously. I think that it's stupid for you to attack me, obviously. But, why? What's the purpose of this dot?
Turfan exists just to sabotage any possible working relationship to have with Russia,
Yeah, it's like I
which
don't
when
get it.
Safavid attacks you is not something you want to do.
Yep. So, Ottomans are dead. Ottomans are dead as a
Yeah.
doorknob because they just left their back wide open to a stab.
No, the Sicily army got convoyed away.
Oh,
No.
Jesus has fallen.
That makes me sad.
It didn't even get convoyed to there.
It's kind of funny because it was like in Athens, I think. So they knew that convoyed it into onto the island. Could have just gone to Tripoli instead.
Where was it convoyed
They
from?
could have done something. Athens.
Yeah, Athens. Okay, yeah. I thought it was, for some reason I thought it was from Tripoli, and then it was just going back and forth.
That'd be even worse.
It'd be funnier. Anyways,
Yeah.
Ottomans loses Cairo here as well. They're just cooked.
That's Africa gone. Yeah.
I message them a bit for the rest of the game to try to get them to cooperate, but their responses are always like one sentence and 1 hour before deadline. So not a particularly useful partner in any scenario.
Kentetli's kind of given up in that case.
Yeah, which I mean, fair enough, but also I don't have much sympathy.
Yeah, there's not much reason for you to keep him around in that case.
Yeah.
At least he's kind of ran off to you in the Black Sea.
Oh, I mean, we'll see in Disbands how true that really is all I'll say. It's like status quo here in the East with Qing. They don't like this all like works out to like a draw. I think they get into Ikuri and I get into what do I get into? I get into Highland Pao because he moves here and then I get to go here even though he cut this unit.
And Tokugawa is taking another 2 off them, so Ming's pretty much gone now. They're down to 2 centers, maybe 3 centers. Yeah. Yes, they're just dead.
Qing is gone. Ming yet lives.
Ming's gonna die soon too.
Any other question? I'm just gonna look around for. Okay, Ayutthaya coring. Yep. Good job, Trevor. This isn't terrible. This is a very.
Well,
this is a.
Sumatra's good. I don't know if I court both. Like the tempo is. Oh my god.
You have a fleet. You can move it. You can move it. It doesn't have to stay still. You can move it.
I hate looking at this.
And it was the support isn't needed. You don't need to support. He has 2
pains
fleets here.
Me.
Mughals can support himself, and there is no way anybody else can do anything. You could just do this. You don't have to sit still and strangle yourself with a rope. You can move.
Yeah, I mean, getting into any notion would be pretty huge.
You could also do this too, and you can get Ceylon, and you can like.
Yeah, I mean the tempo from not coring is almost always worth it instead of coring.
Yeah, I mean unless you're like getting a strategic advantage out of it. So like that's why coring Sumatra is okay because you can like do a lot from here. But in this scenario, you're just like sacrificing a lot of tempo by not just going out and grabbing.
Like you could just send it out and send another fleet in. It's like pretty much the same effect you would have if you cored it, but faster.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And the thing about this is, we talk about tempo. I know a lot of people see Imp Dip as a longer game, and it is to an extent. But the important thing to keep in mind is that sometimes when people solo, most of the time when people solo, they're doing it by like 1 or 2 dots. It's close. You don't solo an Imp Dip by a huge margin. Not since we got rid of vassals. So it is really important to have that tempo to grasp for every single dot, because if you do not grasp for every single dot, you will lose, and people have lost because of that before. And like in this
games also end a lot quicker than people think. Like solos are usually done going up by a lot more dots than what throws, a lot of stats at the last second. Most people like you don't know when the game's going to end, and it's either like people think they have more time than they actually do.
Yeah,
which happens a lot.
Your time is limited. You must make the most use of it you can.
Yeah.
Anyways, now that we've talked about all that, any other questionable moves?
I think we can move on.
Generally, I don't understand like half of this. Like, what are you? I guess I don't know why you'd want Spain to fail a south bounce when you can just force this fleet out, but whatever. Tactics. I'm just
Spain's moves have been questionable for a while.
No, this was
now.
Aymara's moves because Aymara was doing like to prevent the south bounce. Tried to support this.
Yeah. Interesting.
But
and then back
no.
over base. I can kind of see it. Not really, but I can kind of see it.
Builds. I build an army.
Makes sense.
Yep, because I can convoy.
Yep.
And I'm also paranoid about the whole sap of it.
Well, yeah, you definitely want to keep there.
Actually, so the real reason I built this, actually, I remember now, was to go this way. Because somebody is being annoying, and I want to encourage Sapovitz to go and hit him over the head with a baseball bat.
Well, I think potentially balance beats there is a good idea.
Yeah.
In case they do go after you, you're almost certainly going there if they are going to start.
Exactly. So it all works out, really. Also, you know how you said Ottomans would lay off me in the Black Sea?
How many disbands? Okay, 2, 3.
3.
Just 3?
3.
Okay. I would have. I guess Sea of Azov is worth keeping because soft fleets are a problem, but Black Sea could have definitely gone here.
I get rid of Sea of Azov here like every time, pretty much. I don't see, like, I get rid of Sea of Azov and I keep Poltava because then you can maintain your position versus Poland a little bit better. I mean, like that. Like, if you force me to choose, I think that's what I'm going to choose in most scenarios. I don't see the benefit at all to having a fleet in Sea of Azov. All it does is prevent me from getting out and then building an army in Shosh and stabbing Sapovitz. That's all you're preventing. You're just making Sapovitz's job easier, really.
Yeah, I mean, what Ottomans want to do is work with you against Sapovitz.
Yeah.
And hard to do that when they're threatening 2 of your centers.
Yep.
Just by being there.
Tough.
I don't like the double Black Sea fleet build at year 1 from Ottomans. Like I haven't seen a Ottoman player successfully pull it off, but I see most Ottoman players do it, and it usually gets into situations like this. They're overcommitted against Russia, and Russia has a good defensive line in the north. Get anything? Sees how few armies Ottomans have, and is what can Ottoman do about it?
Stab. And then Abyssinid as well. I mean, the real crux of the issue of building the 2 Black Sea fleets is you are making a investment of 2 units for a maximum gain of 2 dots. That's not how you win. That ain't how you win diplomacy.
The best thing those fleets can do is convoy armies across. It's not even all that worth it, because like an army from Constantinople can just walk out there in the same amount of time.
You can walk. Nobody's forcing you to do this.
Yeah, it's not like it's not. I don't really get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. In any case, moves, I guess. Builds aren't interesting otherwise, really. Sweden builds a fleet in Gothenburg to go like this way or something. I don't get why this is the build spot. Like, you can build here and then.
I've done like army and then convoy it to Poland.
Yeah, you build an army here and you just like drop it into Courland.
Yeah. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
Poland doesn't have builds. That's.
I mean, I guess really, you like wait until you go
easy
here,
to make.
But then like you
get. Well, convoy in spring, like you can then get that army like Königsberg or Warsaw. Pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, you get a 50-50 on their capital, maybe. But, I mean, Sweden making less effective moves is not something I'm going to complain too much about, I think, is my opinion.
True. It's always nice to see.
Sweden's self-sabotaging is not going to cause me too many issues. So, on to moves. Ottomans NMR.
Well, they are dying anyways, but still.
Well,
that's always rough to see.
Yeah, that certainly accelerates it quite a bit. Sweden and I start cooperating against Poland because I want dots and, dots.
Are they promising you anything beyond Kyiv?
No. I mean, like Jassy and Oshikiv, but that's not
Yeah.
really, like, whatever, man.
I mean, keep is still nice. Like, you still go for it.
I'm gonna take it, but I'm like not gonna be sad. I'm not gonna take it and then be like, this is a good stopping point. Like, no.
Yeah.
Zara,
Like, Sweden is getting to be a problem.
Zara Alexander made it all the way to Paris.
Yeah, at this point, I would France, maybe England, try and get something against Sweden.
That's what I've been doing. I've been
They are
talking
getting
to
a bit big.
I've been talking to England especially about doing this, but England's, for whatever reason, Portugal decided that they're the only person they wanted to mess with. The only thing they wanted to do during the entire course of the game was attack England. So like,
Well, they're definitely doing that.
That's what they do.
Not well, but they're doing it.
They're gonna get Ireland, and that's about it. And the rest of their country is going to be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Choices were made.
In other news, Ching continues to die. Also, Mughals
Yeah, I
from
think
this
you take all the centers this year.
Mughals from this point basically begs me to attack Safavids like every year the rest of the game. And my response is always, I have to wait until it's perfect, because I got forced in this position where Safavids has a fleet on the Caspian. And that's that. And Mughals gets progressively more and more upset about me telling him that. But like, I'm just being straight.
I don't think he just has a right to complain too much here.
Yeah, like I mean, first of all, what were we doing here? There was no reason to make me suffer this much for the one dot that you're literally running away from.
Yeah, I don't understand the logic here.
And like, secondly, first of all, the dot. Secondly, you were one of the reasons that I got forced into not being able to do anything about this. Like you were a primary reason of why the situation exists. I do not want to hear it. So I'm like, I'm not gonna beat around the bush and be like, I'll maybe attack them next year. I just basically tell Mughals, like, until I have 4 builds and Safavids has 0, I'm not doing anything to Safavids because I can't.
Yeah, with the way Softies are going, it's not gonna happen.
Like, the absolute most I do is I like take Astrakhan, right? But I take Astrakhan, then I lose Shash because the positioning here is like 3, and then I can have 3, right? So like, just visualize, I can have 3, he can have 3, but then he can also have Caspian to cut. So I lose Shash, and I don't get Turkestan because he has, he can put armies here and sit on it.
Yeah, you got 2 spaces attack from the north. He's got, like 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, depending on Yarkand.
He needs to be like completely exposed for you to be able to move him up.
Yep. Also, Tokugawa does that thing we were talking about. And you wouldn't believe
who
decides to support them.
No! Who could have seen that one coming?
I don't know. Like, I know Inuit gets promised Chukchis here, and they get it. But, like, there's no way it's worth it.
They're supporting Tokuin?
It goes like that.
Anyways.
But you never support Tokugawa in getting these centers, because, like, I'm not dead. Like I'm not a dead power. I will have builds. So Tokugawa will get stuck right here along the coastline. And what's Tokugawa gonna do when they get stuck on the coastline? Well, they have all these fleets in NPO, and they're like some centers, like somewhere around here, right?
I mean, even then, like, even if Tokugawa succeeds and does, like, completely maul you, like, the natural thing they do with all those fleets is just turn around and hit Chukchi again. Like,
yeah, they just you don't keep this.
It's honestly in this position, like, it's a trap to work with Tokugawa. I think, like, they're big and scary and they have a lot of fleets, so you want to work with them so they don't attack you, but you can't help them grow because there's no natural endpoint of that doesn't result.
There's
being at war with them.
there's no world that ends well for you if you're in UN.
Yeah.
At best, it goes neutral, and you shouldn't be making moves with your fleets that at best end neutral. You should be making positive moves that go well.
Yeah, like India and Togo are pretty natural rivals over the North Pacific, and you can't let Tokugawa just have free reign over it.
I have questions about Inuit's moves.
Why are they convoying to none of them?
I guess they're at war with Shoshone here? No, they're not. They're
leaving
cooperating.
Shippuden. How does Utah have an army up there in the first?
They got this way, and then they got here, and then there, and then they walked out of a dodge.
Okay.
But
sure.
But you get stabbed by France because France isn't stupid. France can see dots, and France will take them.
And you would still refuse to stab France after all this time.
This is what kindness gets you.
And they're still at war with England. Yeah, I would say that I would have some sympathy here, but I just don't.
I don't. I mean, it was you had so many chances, man.
Yeah, I kind of floundered.
Yeah.
Oh, there goes that. Spain somehow. Yeah, Spain stabbed England and Utah's now. It's not losing Mexico City's losing control of definitely on Spain.
Yeah, losing the Gulf of Mexico is just terrible. You're just done once that happens.
Yeah, you're not getting that one back.
Let's see what else is going on in the world. South America is still just really, really chaotic.
Yeah.
Mapuche agreed to give this to Aymara, so that's cool.
I mean, if I'm at Aymara, I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you just park your army right there.
Dots are dots, right?
Or like,
yeah.
Yeah. Sneeze. Ooh.
I mean,
but yeah, you just,
Asuncion is a dot, and Mato Grosso is not a dot. Stands
Correct.
to reason which one you would rather take.
Yeah, I mean, chaos.
Yeah, that's interesting. Mali is still doing Mali things.
Yeah, this has gone slower than expected. Mali has not really decided to stab Portugal yet, so they don't have enough bills to just clear house.
They're getting there, though.
Yeah, they will now, but it's slow. The tempo, it's like we were saying earlier, tempo is really important, and they missed a lot of tempo by making the decision not to just stab Portugal and take all their dots.
Yeah. Portugal's gonna die soon, though.
Yeah, Portugal ended up with Ageron's dots. I don't pretend.
Oh, is Ageron a Portugal vessel now?
I don't think
They
so.
take Fabio back.
I think this was non-consensual, but then they agreed to cooperate against Congo, or else because they were dead if they didn't. But if you you can.
Yeah, I mean, I very interesting that they chose not to take their centers back.
Yeah, this is something.
I guess
anyways,
some good policy on Portugal's part.
Got some good coring going on from Waitaya.
Oh my god, we're coring Andaman Islands. I don't like this.
C dot. Go towards them.
I mean, they were fighting guts. You might as well finish it. You're fighting Yugos and going to take them go. What are you doing?
You go attack Mughals, but Bay of Bengal, that might be a little bit too aggressive. So we better core.
Yeah. You don't want Mughals to think attacking them,
No, I mean certainly not. I don't know.
That'd be terrible.
Yeah. This was you're gonna love the next set of moves. Is all I'm gonna say, because this was very heavily pushed by me and Safavids to get this stab to happen. By Safavids for obvious reasons, and by me because I want Safavids to think there's a real chance they get dots down here. There isn't. There is never a chance that Safavids is getting a lot of dots in India. But as long as Safavids think that chance exists, he's not going to be attacking me. right?
Yeah, makes sense.
So it's whatever. It works for me. That's about it. I'm going to go to the next phase, which is fall moves. And we'll start with this relationship. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm guessing they made peace.
They made peace. I don't know
Oh,
why.
Eagles are tapping Animan Islands? I'm not sure.
Yeah, they did.
That's weird to me.
I don't understand most of this, but I don't pretend to understand most of this. Also, Safiz gets away with this conquer line maneuver, which he told me about in advance. I could have leaked that to Mughals, but I didn't because Mughals are annoying.
Yeah, that's good for you. They ship armies out.
Yeah. I guess technically I could have gotten Turkestan or something, but whatever. It's not worth it. Mughals has been consistently and Mughals are still pestering me the whole time to attack Safids, and I'm still no, I can't yet. I don't have it. I don't get what it takes.
Yep, you take keep though. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, and I'm coring. Look at me.
Oh.
Look at me. I mean, the problem is that if I move out of Spitsbergen and Sweden decides to do what Sweden does and go for dots, then it's bad. And I'm coring Iceland because the only other option with these fleets is to attack England or something, but I don't see a reason.
Oh
to do that.
You don't want to attack Sweden right now because it don't.
But I
kind of see it.
But I want to sit there to be able to attack Sweden if I need to.
Yeah. Okay. I'm surprised Soviets haven't got back in on attacking you. That's pretty nice.
Yep. We're chilling.
Works out. Hopefully some kind of global coalition.
Yeah, well, I'm sure this will all work out very well for me. Also, I ended up losing a bunch of dots to Safavids, which is inevitable and sad. Not Safavids, Tokugawa. Oh wow, I've been here for a while. Inuits does get Chukchis for one moment. We'll see how long that moment is.
I'm sure they'll hold it for a while.
Yeah.
Good while.
Yeah, I mean, Tokugawa is not someone who would just stab you and take your dots. No sirree.
No sir.
Yep. Also, Tokugawa just ends up over here. I don't understand how that's happened ever. I heard varying justifications from all the players in the area, and I still just don't get it. You have fleets. You can use them.
Using fleets is just too hard.
Yeah.
I think that is figure out.
I don't know why you had to support yourself in New Mexico City. You could have had your cake and eaten it too. And
yeah, but you don't want to get the cake, just not their style, I guess.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Spain does win this 50-50 though. That's funny.
Solid.
Yep, you'll love to see it. That's about it. Oh yeah, Inuit wins a bunch of 50-50s, but then England and France are cooperating again, so they still lose.
Oh. I mean, they probably know, but that's hilarious.
Should have stabbed France.
Should have stabbed France.
Just right back.
Wait, no, go back.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
It's too late, I think. But at least they're trying.
But why are you you move the fleet here and you use the army to keep hello? Am I?
Yeah, no, that wasn't smart. We can't know the genius of the Inuit player right now.
And then
and we're coring until Coden's also holding for some. They could have taken until Coden guaranteed. Oh my god! They didn't though.
There are just dots. What
they could have.
What are the Inuits doing that they can't see the dot and take it? Are they stuck in an igloo? They're You know, there's like an igloo. Like how do you?
Those sunglasses they're wearing must be
this.
like really thick
Like,
ones.
there's like an igloo or whatever, and they're like stuck inside and they can't leave. They're just stuck. They're stuck in like the
Yeah, they
igloo.
just refuse to go out.
Yeah. Or like it's pointed this way or whatever. Like this is the opening, and the igloo's like this. God,
Yeah.
I love it, man, but I hate it at the same time. Yes.
Okay. I guess we don't need to bother defending.
Nope.
Sure.
No.
And we still have the 2 armies on the brief.
They're still there, yeah.
They just have not left the entire game.
There are so many things you can do with 2 armies as a colonial, as long as they're not stuck on islands doing nothing. Anyways,
they're just
builds.
touring the countryside.
Yes. So for builds, I decide right here. So the long and short of it is, see this fleet that Poland built?
Yep.
That fleet was orchestrated by Sweden. So, get this straight. You gotta listen to this, and you're not gonna believe it, but you just saw the build, so you will believe it. Sweden told Poland that Sweden would go back to working with him against me if Sweden built another fleet in the Caribbean, because then Poland would have the fleets to help Sweden get out like this and get colonies out here.
Oh.
So I want you to evaluate that offer from Sweden and tell me if you think that Sweden was telling the truth or if Sweden was telling an outrageous lie.
You know, something tells me that I don't think Sweden's being entirely honest here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just have like a little gut feeling about it, you know?
Yeah. So my dilemma is this is the best time for me to stab Sweden that I will ever get, because, like, you know, I can go up, I can take. He can't do anything about this. I can stab him really easily.
There are a few dots that you can see.
Yes, and I can take them. The problem I'm having is that if I want to stab Sweden most effectively, then I would love to have Poland joining me for it. I would love to stop attacking Poland, make peace with Poland, and attack Sweden. But the fact that Poland believed this bullshit and built this fleet means that I cannot tell Poland a word, because everything I tell Poland, Poland is telling Sweden. Everything. I verified that, by the way, with some messages. Everything I tell Poland, Sweden hears. So, like, it's just...
So Sweden does this brutal stab on Poland, and Poland just... Who believes this? I don't...
And, like, after Sweden already did all of this, and, like, and went this, and then did this...
They already have, like, this brutal setup to take all of your dots. It's clear that they're going to keep...
Yeah, and I tell Poland you should build a fleet in Wilno, because if you build a fleet in Wilno... here we go.
Yeah, that can do things.
You can go here. You can cause problems. You can make Sweden do this. You know, you can maybe you bait Sweden. You make Sweden think that you have to bounce, but instead of bouncing, you just move here, and then Sweden has a fleet here. You have a fleet. I mean, look at all these things you can do with a fleet in Vilno. All these mind games you can play. But
Poland has just surrendered their European territory to Sweden.
Yeah, but you know, Sweden's a nice guy, and you wouldn't lie.
No, surely not.
No, this is an utmost gesture of friendship from the Swedish player. I built an army in Obdorsk because I want to move this fleet here. I want to move this fleet here and this fleet here. And my idea is to do this convoy all the way down to Sweden.
There you go.
Ambition.
Yeah, that'll really put...
Yeah, if I can land armies in Umeå and Trondheim, then Sweden will have a lot of problems.
Yeah,
and with those
Sweden
builds,
pretty much has to pull a lot of fleets back to deal with that.
And if that goes well, I can build armies in Novgorod and Arkhangelsk if I have the spare builds, because I'll get a bunch of dots. And then I can do this as well. I can build one in Moscow. I can just avalanche Sweden armies and kill them.
You just keep going.
Yeah.
Ideally, you want to make sure Sweden doesn't have builds in a situation like that, which is the hardest part about this, because Poland is going to let Sweden
Stab them.
Because it looks
Or
like Sweden might get like
everything they
Gdansk
can
and
take.
Königsberg. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not ideal.
I still think you kind of have to go. Tunes
Yeah,
gets
like
out of control here.
yeah, like I have to stab him, but it's not gonna be a good stab because, you know,
Poland.
yeah, it's gonna be a
Poland is a
mediocre stab.
willing enabler of Sweden's misbehavior here.
Poland saw the Grim Reaper walking down the street, and was like, "Oh my God, I love your work. Can you demonstrate it on me, please?" And Sweden said, "Sure thing."
I mean, who wouldn't be happy to? Someone offers you this many free dots like this.
I mean, yeah, like this
You
is,
gotta take it.
and like, the bad thing for me is that if I interrupt any of this, like the easiest way to interrupt this is to do that. You just block the convoy, and Sweden doesn't get very much. But if
Yeah,
I
if you
do
bought
that,
the convoy, then they can bounce you, and you may have.
yeah, then I get nothing. So it's, I mean, it's really not very nice.
Yeah, you kind of have to let it happen.
It just feels so bad because this was so preventable, but like, I just nothing.
Well,
I couldn't tell Poland anything because Poland was back in Sweden's pocket.
yeah, it really depends on how many Poland can prevent Sweden from getting. Because you're taking 2 off of Sweden, so if Poland
Actually,
only loses 2 to Sweden,
So I take 2, but I can also, no, I mean I can prevent. Well, no, but because Poland does this, I mean, so I could have.
oh yeah, because you're not in Kiev.
So like I could have cut it like this, but I just didn't. I didn't trust any of this. I wanted to make
Yeah,
sure.
that's fair.
You know, it's tough. Maybe I should take more risks in this situation, but it just doesn't.
Well, in this position, I can like, oh,
There's
okay.
just
So
nothing.
Sweden's in 4 dots right now.
Sweden.
Now 5 dots. Bremen 2.
Bop bop bop
Oh,
bop bop.
and then Bremen. Yeah.
Death.
Yeah. Sweden's definitely gonna have build.
Sweden will have
Which-
builds, but
He's problematic.
I will also have builds.
There you go.
Right? Yeah, those are my builds. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good. You got 2 from Sweden, 1 from Mules. That's
And I can maybe sneak out 1 from Poland if I get lucky. Somewhere in here, I can maybe sneak out a 4th.
Poland's showing himself to be the trusting type.
Yeah, Savovitz makes a little bit of progress against Mughals. It's not like particularly good progress because he kind of messes up his orders here. I think that in this situation you have to move this fleet specifically so that your army doesn't get force disbanded, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he moves this fleet instead because it looks better, because then you can open up the center for more building. But yeah, you've got to move this fleet. You just do.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of options there.
Yeah.
Mules is struggling.
Yeah, this is like arranged-ish. I don't
This is
understand.
arranged.
It's like arranged-ish. One of those things.
Why?
Right?
Just go for the stab. Just bounce.
You're gonna love the fall.
Oh my god.
Um.
I mean, if you're very good here, go right to fall.
Yeah. So like, Tokugawa convoys in. I've been like threatening I just have been threatening Tokugawa with like permanent war for this stab unless they give me back like 2 of my dots.
Yeah. I'm
and-
assuming you're not gonna get those back.
I don't. I ultimately, so I decided to back off on the threat of permanent war. It's like what I could have done if I wanted to. If I had ignored Sweden, I could have convoyed this army here,
Yeah.
and then I can have an army here, like here and here, something like this. And this
Yeah.
is
And
brutal.
Tokugawa can't contest that.
I can actually maybe take back a center, like 1 center if I do that. Now, it's not at all a worthwhile investment, because if I do that, I'm going to be brutalized by Sweden next year. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, because he's going to have 5 builds at least, if not more. Like, if I don't do anything with
Yeah.
Sweden, he's going to have like 6
And you
builds.
know, like Narva.
Yeah, and it's going to be army, and it's just going to be this all over again.
Maybe the die Russia die.
yeah, I mean, I just know it's coming. So I can't.
Yeah.
The downside of that is I spent all the phase talking to Tokugawa like I want to kill him, and then I, in the last like 3 hours, back off, which I don't like to do. I generally like to follow through on my threats, but
Yeah, I think backing off is a right move here.
I just can't follow through.
He only
because,
has like the 2 or 3 armies really fight you with, and they have better options.
Yeah, and I can't follow through in it because. Anyways,
He's going to help Sweden.
yeah, he's gonna help Sweden get colonies because
His buddy Sweden.
Because Sweden has definitely never taken any of your dots before.
No. Sweden's a nice guy. Never. Never ever.
I cannot believe Poland fell for this bullshit. I cannot believe it.
You know the things that you can like convince people to do in diplomacy, or really anything if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, but like you were already stabbed by him. Why do you believe anything that comes out of his mouth? I mean,
it's a great question.
I mean, it's really funny. Anyways, yeah. So that's all my moves. Other than that, we have a nice hold. England just gave up India, so that's not good for me and Safavid's relationship, because if there's no England here, it's just 3 more builds from Mughal. It's like, it's not really good. It makes it look more hopeless, which is not good for me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if Mughals trying to tie against Safis, they can eventually. Short-term Safis are going to stab you for builds to fight them, and then things get dicey.
Yeah, but like Safavid doesn't get any builds from stabbing me, pretty much. I mean, if I get this off, then maybe, but but then I'll have builds, and it doesn't matter. It just doesn't. Elsewhere, hold.
Oh, double core from Mali. I don't love that.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand 1. I mean, 2. I guess because he doesn't have any fleets, right? So you need like to build a bunch of them. But
well, you already have the pre-core for fleets, right?
You have 1. I guess if you want to build a ton of them, but
I can understand like another one to like get into like Central Africa, but you don't need both.
I think you core this one, then you send this army like up that way, because you want to start getting up here and then barrel this way. Tempo is like we were saying. Tempo is really important. You have to take dots as fast as you can.
It's really easy to lose too, and it's really hard to get back.
Yeah. South America is interesting. There's like moves going on. This is obviously a setup for Aymar to stab the Dutch, but the Dutch don't have eyes, so they don't see it coming.
Yeah, Dutch sees it coming. Well, no, this is guaranteed, so why?
Why are we coring Mexico City? We could go this
direction.
Stab
Spain. Stab them.
Like
knife them really hard.
Fight them. Take their dots.
I guess maybe they're worried about Saltillo, but like.
But I don't understand. Like,
frontline cores are never good.
Like, hello, why are we? Why? You don't have to cut this unit. You have this
one
to support
yeah,
the whole.
What? You could have taken. That fleet would have been like, not force suspended, but close.
It would have been force suspended. Oh no, it would have been here.
No, they could have retreated north.
Okay,
yeah,
that's as good.
That's like a useless spot for a fleet, though. So
that's better than force. No, that's better than force suspended, because it means Tokugawa has to go back here and sit still.
True. Yeah, I mean, that would have been a better move than what we saw here.
I just gotta point this out. Like, Athabasca still exists, by the way. I don't understand how Athabasca still exists.
Oh.
But they're
coring.
I'm
shocked they made it to the end here.
I don't know why they're coring.
Like, you would see, like, the rise and fall of, like, both their neighbors that stabbed them.
Can you imagine if Athabasca went this way? Just ratting.
Yeah. Oh, they might take their capital back with that one.
Yeah, they might have. France somehow falls for this. I don't understand how.
Yeah, no. That makes no sense to me.
Anyways, Inuit also somehow finished this core.
And they never used it. Because of course they wouldn't. They're under attack.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Ugh.
Funny how that happens, isn't it?
You know, who could have seen that one?
Yes. So the downside of all of this happening is I was told by England that England was going to sit here and hold, and England decided that they didn't want to do that, which means now Sweden has 2 fleets that border Norwegian Sea, so I can no longer do my flying
Yeah.
convoy. Sweden
True.
also, I'm going to go to the next phase, because I think this is about the end of the relevant actions. Sweden spends
Yeah.
this whole phase telling me he's going to force his way into Norwegian Sea, and with my experience from Sweden, I know that everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie, so I just move in preemptively.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's actually kind of pull the convoy, but you can't really do anything about that.
Also,
Supporting North Sweden.
so the other thing that happens this turn is you can see
Oh, what?
Inuit hard commits to fight me. Like, this is a hard commit to fight Russia, and it's like I accidentally cut Tokugawa's support, but he committed so hard to fighting me, Inuit did, that he still lost Chukchis. He had nothing there. Like I don't
get. Isn't he like actively losing in his homeland? Like, isn't he getting stabbed? Or,
he got a
I
good
guess
stab
not.
on France, but
Yeah,
you know,
he
you
stabs
had
Utah too. Oh wow.
you could like send fleets this way, but instead you just
Yeah, North America looks so chaotic. I can
like if you just wrap with fleets down here, you just take everything. Like, there's no. I mean,
yeah.
actually, so you could have wrapped the fleets this way if you had decided not to empower Tokugawa and remove me from being able to threaten them. But
Well, yeah, and we said this earlier. Like once the Tokugawa
sorry, you cut after
into North.
you cut out after once the Tokugawa.
Well, we said earlier that they're the next step of their fleet is to always like move on to Chukchis and start taking Alaska, and they have Hawaii too. So like they're perfectly set up to do it.
Yeah, and they have California.
Yeah, like this. I don't know how. I can see like anyone's mind try to keep Tokugawa on side. Like they helped Tokugawa eliminate every rival with the fleet, so it kind of have to work with Tokugawa, so Tokugawa doesn't stab them, but like Tokugawa just gonna attack them, so it doesn't work out.
Utter foolishness.
Yeah. How many dots does Poland lose?
Poland loses 1, 2, 3, 4.
I think there's. No, it was Vienna.
6,
7. I think Constantinople. No.
Nope. They. Oh yes. Because no yes no. They kept it. Sorry, yeah, they kept it. So that's.
They lose anything in South America?
Yeah. Let's see. No.
Why are they going? No.
You have units. You can use them, and he does.
Why are you self-doubting and Cartagena? Oh, Poland.
You're allowed to go other directions.
Just nothing. It's a nothing turn for Poland.
Well, it's a minus.
Is their African colony dead?
What? Other African.
Your African colony?
It is now.
Yeah, that's dead. Well,
yep.
That's what, like -8?
Yes, -8. That is what happens when Sweden says, build fleet New Courland and I'll work with you, and then you actually do it. Like, that's what happens.
Sweden's always like linked away. Clearly, Sweden was always going to work with Poland.
Yeah. So the other
they didn't mean to stab.
The other thing that happens here is I get stabbed by Safovitz.
Oh.
Now Safovitz picked exactly the wrong moment to do this, because this is the only turn on which I will have 4 builds.
Yeah.
Like this is the exactly wrong time. I don't understand why he picked this time to do it.
He takes 1 dot off you. He's not so
Yeah, that's all.
more.
That's it.
I guess I don't know. This doesn't feel great to me. It feels like he's getting desperate and else.
Yeah, I mean the problem. So the problem with
Um,
this is that by stabbing me, you prevent. So this is kind of a big picture thing, but I would expect a player of the Safovitz caliber, who I've said is pretty good. He's a pretty good player. I would expect him to understand this, but he clearly missed this important bit, which is that when you stab me, I will have to commit all my builds to fighting him now. I will have to. I don't have a choice, and because I'm forced to commit everything to fighting him, I now no longer have the ability to do anything else. Like, I can't properly fight Sweden. I can't fight Sweden without these builds. Like, if I want to fight Sweden, I need to build a fleet here, I need to build an army here, I need to build an army here. Like, I need to build and go fight him. But I literally can't anymore. I can't. I don't have the ability to. Similarly, if I want to fight Tokugawa, like if I want, like say, so like Tokugawa and I had a deal where I was going to give him Highland Power next year. Say I want to go back on that and I want to have Highland Power for myself for a while, I need to build in Irkutsk and go that way and fight him. I can't. I literally cannot do anything else but put armies down and fight Safovitz now. So this second stab...
Yeah, you should have waited till after builds. Yeah, your style against Sweden is pretty obvious here. Like, it's not easy to do. You're gonna do this without your positions against Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely wait till after builds and then stabs that you.
Or like just don't stab at all. I mean, I guess you can wait till build. Yeah, waiting till after builds and stabbing still works because, like, I'll still have everything moving away.
Yeah, like if you're gonna stab Russia, then
you want to wait. Because I think it was very, very clear in this position that I was going to have builds. Like, for whatever reason...
Yeah.
Like, for whatever reason, like, Safavids and Mughals thought that, like, they could get away with this. But you can't.
You're like, obviously you're going to support hold that. That's interesting.
Yeah. That's the word I would use, is interesting.
And their core jumps on. But I actually kind of respect the core hitter.
It's like a good idea because if you get it off, you can build a fleet here and do this.
Yeah.
But like that's.
I kind of respect that core.
I'll give you a hint. They never get that off. Ottomans keeps the fleets in the Black Sea and cuts it every single time. He never finishes that core.
Of course.
Yep.
Ottomans still having fleets in fight.
I just can't believe it. It's really funny in a weird way.
Yeah. Yep. And of course he was hold one of them. But that's fine.
We go to builds. Wait, actually we gotta criticize. What is this?
Who are criticizing? Let's see.
Hold support.
You can't. No.
It makes no difference because you know.
Yeah, they're gonna lose that anyways, but that's still kind of funny.
But just the principle of it, you know.
Yeah.
Because you could have done like this and then been annoying.
Yeah, but you know, gotta get that core.
Yep.
Let's see.
Are they? Hello.
Oh.
England. England. You need.
England, you're doing so well against Spain. Don't throw it away.
Well, you gotta
not
hold.
Like this.
You gotta hold England. Okay then.
Okay.
Same thing. India is still cutting Poland's. Yeah, I wait. Is it still? No. We saw that earlier. Never mind.
Yeah. How's
losses?
I tied doing? They had some interesting quarters earlier.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Is this bugle I can't.
I don't understand. I mean,
like Bugles are in Chengdu where they're supporting. I don't get it.
So I did press the tremor, and I got their reasoning for this, and I think it's sound reasoning, but they just didn't go all the way. So what they say is that they think that Mughals is trying to clear centers to build here and then stab them. So Ayutthaya preemptively walks in to take the dots to make sure that they don't have the space to build and stab, which is like sound, right?
I
that's
mean,
like,
you just cut like all that logic out. Say, I want dot, and that would be a valid reason
well, if you want to
to do
dots,
this.
then you would do this.
Yeah, which is what you should be doing.
True. In any case, so Tremor is like kind of correct on that. If you think Moogles is trying to clear out dots to stab you, then you stab them right now before they get the real opportunity to, and things are good. Now, what Tremor did though was Tremor made the mistake of thinking that Moogles would just accept this and let things go back to the status quo.
Of course not.
So then Tremor was like surprised when the Moogles just built a bunch of armies. Like, you can't see it; the map didn't render properly, but like there's an army here, and there's an army here, and
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's a natural response to an army in Sausage Realm.
yeah,
Of course, people are gonna build there.
yep. So that's what you get.
Oh, okay,
Um,
that's the choice.
these are all armies. I forget what this is. This might be a fleet.
Yeah, I'm assuming you're building
These
armies.
are all
Yep.
armies, and I have that as well because I'm magic. I disbanded the retreat or something stupid like that.
Yeah, I mean it works.
These are all armies.
Yeah. Poland just painting everything.
Yeah. The other thing that happens here is I talk to Sweden a lot, and the basic agreement that Sweden and I decided to come to is that I will like basically evacuate. That Sweden can have Iceland and Trondheim and Umeå back, but in exchange, I want Helsingfors and Narva, and that we can have a border, and that we can stop trying to kill each other.
Yeah, but that's not real, right? Like, there's no way that.
Well, he builds like it's real. So,
Okay.
like
If it works, that's pretty good for you.
these were agreed upon, builds and whatnot. So yeah, we'll see if Sweden holds to that deal.
Yeah.
I don't really expect Sweden to. I have hopes. I kind of need him to if I'm gonna have any chance of staying in this game, given I have to deal with this now.
Yeah, like, this would have been a really good year for you had Sophie's not stabbed.
Yeah, like I could have actually been a player in this game. I was getting up there, you know.
Yeah, you're bringing it back.
Yeah, we could have been a good duo, but we stab. So there it goes.
Yeah, I'm assuming you tried a piece with Sophie's and they just. Right?
There's just no. I can't peace with them right now because if I make peace, he'll just say yes, let's make peace, and then if I don't build all of these units, I just get smashed.
Well, you build those units and then you offer peace.
Yeah, I mean, I told him. Well, I did tell him.
Yeah, it doesn't really work.
But like, whatever. There's no real peace to be had here.
Yeah.
So we go to moves, and as you can see, Sweden does what is. Yeah, so Sweden just stabs completely on that. For no reason, by the way. Sweden gained nothing for stabbing here on this deal because all of these moves work, even if I, like, don't. Right? Like, you see that?
Yeah. I don't know what Sweden thought would happen.
All the moves work, even if I fight you, so you don't need to lie to me and make me hate you more, but that's what Sweden did.
Sweden's been lying for you the entire game.
Yes. It's another one. Yeah, I mean, and at this point in the game, it is becoming extremely annoying to me, to the point that I mute Sweden's press channel. Not here. This isn't the turn I do it. I do it the next turn because he stabbed me again, believe it or not.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're doing pretty well against him. You're actually taking down.
I mean, yeah, this is like magic basically, but I'm gonna lose will no. I can't. I can keep it. I can keep it with Polish cooperation because we can cut these 2 units and we can hold it barely.
Yeah.
But like,
you probably try to snipe like Narva maybe.
yeah, I can try to snipe Narva. I can try to hit Livonia. There's like some options here. The problem with sniping Narva is that he has the army in Helsingfors because he moved the fleet, so he can move the army this way, and I get nothing. Well, unless like this, but.
Oh yeah, but yeah, I see the logic here.
Yeah, it just looks worse for me. I get the line against Safavids. It's not that hard to like coordinate this. The problem is that Mughals have decided that they actually don't want to fight Safavids at all. They want to leave me to do it, which, I mean, I guess, you can do that.
Well, support Zafe's last turn. I mean, doing nothing's better than supporting them. Still sucks, but
I mean, it just,
yeah.
it is not a smart idea in the long term for a reason that would become very clear very soon.
Yeah, and this is a weakness of the A2 and B1 map. I think Zafe just can't really get a good mules. Like, I mean, they've been at war for like years now, right? We have only managed to take Yarkin, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
So they're just forced to keep going back north.
some tactical missteps by Safavids, of course, but yeah, I mean, it's not very good. But Mughals not supporting me here means I have no way out. Like, there's no outs in my position because I'm getting hit by these two at the same time. And
Yeah.
I don't have the units for it, basically. If I want the units for it, I have to pull them from here in my disbands. And, well, that player is at the top of the leaderboard.
Well,
So
top leaderboard isn't really your problem anymore. Your problem is to survive.
my problem is to keep as many dots as
You're
I
not
can
in
until the
that
end of the game.
position to be balance of power right now.
I am like dying, basically.
Yeah.
It is going really poorly for Russia.
The objective is just survive.
Yep. Ottomans, good Ottomans, cuts this core.
Solid.
Yep.
I think we're... You want to go head straight to fall, or do you want to go around the map?
I just want to see if there's anything funny going on anymore. A little bit of that.
Guess they guessed wrong.
Inuits are getting, like, slapped by Tokugawa, basically. Yeah, it is weird.
Editorial current doesn't move. That's fun.
Yeah. This is
Lots of
arranged.
holds.
So like I said, I have the arrangement to give Highland Power to Tokugawa, and I can't go back on it now because...
Yeah, do you
Yeah.
need them
Yeah.
on side?
Yeah, I need him to not fully kill me.
Yeah. Yeah, Aitai did try to make peace with Eagles. Of course, it's not.
Yeah, he's never going to accept that. Come on.
Yeah.
And this is
They-
also kind of a kill shot onto Ayutthaya, because Ayutthaya actually bought this, and so
Yeah, but Taya went to
Ends up
Gondwana here. They could have
here.
caused some real problems for Eagles.
Yeah, but instead Mughals gets off scot-free, because yeah, an army here from Ayutthaya is pretty good in my view, and in your view.
Yeah. Well, that's not great. Aitai is kind of... I don't want to say dead, but definitely not looking too good.
They're having a similar type of situation to me, where you're not dead, but you're not winning.
Things aren't going well.
There's nothing left. Yeah, well, I guess we can. Let's see. Anything else going on? Oh yeah, there's like a war, like the Africans down here. I was doing press, so midway through the game, Amethyst, who's pretty good, comes on to Ajuran and starts kind of riding out in existence. And I do press with them because they're being attacked by Safavids, and I'm sympathetic, and I want to hit Safavids at some point, but I never get the chance. So I know that these, like Congo, Abyssinia, and Ajuran, are fighting in a 3-party war against Mali.
And they're not making any progress. No.
Well, yeah, I mean
Pandara.
they don't have the units for it.
Yeah, well, they're
Well, they're
trying.
They do get Madara, but like,
Yeah. Yeah, not much else to it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chaos.
It's interesting.
Chaos.
Ugh.
I just am not gonna discuss this.
Yeah, we don't need to.
Yeah, no,
That's a little too much for me.
that's not our problem
Too
anymore.
much holds.
None of this is my
Too many
problem
holds.
anymore. So in the fall, I like set up some units here so I can do some sort of rear guard action if I have to defend against Tokugawa. If I have to, if I do, like you said, it's not my problem anymore, really. But I have the ability to if I want to. There's like some
That's good setup for it.
tactical like wizardry here against Safavids, where I lose Dawn, he gets into Dawn, but I take back Kazakh, so this kind of delays all of his advances for another year. Yeah, he doesn't get to do anything, basically. And if Mughals had ever supported me here, I would have gotten Yarkan. We could have chipped away at this position. There would have been some hope. Some hope. Right?
Right.
Give a dying
But
man
it's just
hope to do
not.
something.
Eagles have had so many chances here.
Some hope. That's all I need.
They're not going.
Yep.
Sophie's still trying to coax Feb's on for some reason. As if they think Ottomans will let them.
Yeah, not happening. This was the final straw for me and Sweden. For me, just muting Sweden's press channel. Because Sweden was telling me they were going to go attack England, and I was like, I mean, yeah, sure, maybe you will. And then near the end of the phase, I decided to bounce these 2 units in Spitsbergen, because, like...
Because everything Sweden says is a lie.
Because, like, come on. Come on.
I mean, yeah, that was 3 dots for him, too.
Yeah, like...
Edinburgh.
Come on. Yeah, but no, he takes Spitsbergen after telling me, he was like, no, I'm not going to take it. I don't have any reason to do that. I mute his press channel. I just tell him, like, there's no point talking to you, doing any diplomacy with you anymore, Sweden. There's no point. I get nothing out of it. Which is a mean thing to say. And it's the only time I've ever muted someone's press channel because there was no point negotiating with them.
Yeah, I get what you mean here.
But, like...
When negotiations break down to that degree, it's better that way.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just done, man. Out of here. So, on that note, we go to builds. And between retreats and builds, I'm talking to Ajuran. And Ajuran, and this was actually going back a couple years, I'm talking to Ajuran. And Ajuran's been like, yeah, I want the game to end quickly because I probably don't do very well. Now, at this point, I don't think that's true. I think Ajuran does pretty well holding out for a while. But that idea got put in my head where it's like, you know, there's nothing left here for me. My position is like god-awful forever with no upside pretty much because of this and not having any support from that. So I decide to, you know, disband some units over here, and I decide that Tokugawa has been, of my 3 neighbors that I've interacted with the most, Sweden, Sapovitz, Tokugawa's been the best. He stabbed me once. Completely understand why he did that. The Inuit support. I mean, like right? Like,
yeah.
Like, come on. I can't blame him that much for that decision. And he's been the least prohibitive.
I mean, if you... I can understand. Especially with the point system. That kind of encourages you to...
Yeah, and I'm like...
If you're losing to end games quickly.
Like, I'm looking at this number, and I'm like, that number's never going up again.
Yeah.
So, like, the longer the game goes, the less ranking points I'm going to end up with at the end of the game. It all looks pretty grim for Russia.
Yeah, the sooner this ends for you, higher position you get, and if you have to sort of throw to make that happen, then I mean that's like mathematically speaking,
that's worth mathematically. The other thing, I wouldn't normally just throw for that reason because it's kind of shitty to everybody else in the game, and I don't particularly like doing that. But for about this week here, I am so upset by Swedish press that I'm like, I want to guarantee that Sweden doesn't win. And there's only one...
You guarantee that to a degree. I think Sweden's in a pretty bad spot here.
There's only one way to really guarantee Sweden doesn't win, though.
True.
And that is to give the win to Tokugawa. Not my finest moment, but a moment nonetheless. Because as I do this, I'm going to be doing decently in the West. I'm going to be picking up Spitsbergen. I can hold that for the year. I can hold myself down here. I can grab Warsaw. So many things I can do. I can
How many dots off of the solo? Tokugawa?
Tokugawa was 6 dots off the solo, and he had to be 7. You have to be 7 dots above. Actually, well, you have to be 25% CC above.
Yeah.
So, of someone else with 32, you have to be 7 above them. And I kept it fuzzy whether I was throwing until the spring moves to make sure that there would not be enough time for anybody else to throw to, Mughals or Safavids or Mapuche, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what they'll do. Maybe Aymara if Aymara hears that I am throwing, Aymara's had a pretty good relationship with Mapuche the whole game. They might set it up so that they can make sure that the game does not end. And that would be bad business for me.
Like, who's top 5 right now? Like, who is this really hurting? Toffee, Tweety, Mules we discussed. I guess Mapuche and Molly are kind of the big one.
Yeah, Molly has alienated all of his neighbors by now.
Yeah, but like that's just Molly things.
For some reason, like this whole fight between these guys and him became personal, and I mean, I know that at one point Molly publicly like accused the Congo player of being shitty in press, and then Congo accused Molly of being shitty in press, and I was like, guys, take this to your press channel. I don't care. Get out of
that's boy talk.
Get out of general with your beef. I don't care. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been a long shot for them to, maybe not a long shot, but not the they weren't guaranteed to win at this point. So
yes,
you're only really taking away the win from like these Muggles.
Yeah, these guys. I mean, Muggles had a pretty good position here, because they could just annihilate Ayutthaya.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a dead Ayutthaya.
It's a dead Ayutthaya.
Thanking you for this.
So in the fall, Ayutthaya joins me in not stopping the solo.
Yep, that'll.
And in supporting Tokugawa into Nanjing. And I support Tokugawa here. Tokugawa goes up here and over here. I keep Yakutsk, funnily enough.
Yep, there you go, right?
Yep, and
that's enough for them to solo.
So you know how I said they had to be 7 above someone else with 32 dots?
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you believe how many dots there were above Mapuche?
Oh wow, that's brutal.
This is an exact solo.
Oh wow.
That is exact. 33-26.
Well, there you go. You kept Russia alive. You know, this is like if you look like objectively, don't look at the where the armies were. Like,
I snuck into Helsingfors again somehow.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I don't know how, but I don't know if that's
I mean, Sweden will let you, you know.
Oh yeah, that
might as well.
Yeah, because you can't cut the support with So yeah, I got this.
Yeah. And if you look at it, it's like this almost looks like a at the end here.
Yeah, I get to hold on to this. I did eventually lose Iceland. I know Portugal bounced like England out of it at one point. I didn't.
Yeah, I mean it was always like.
Well, I told them both they could have it. So. Neither of them got to have it.
That's always fun.
Classic diplomacy maneuver. You guys can have the center. Nope.
Yeah, it's a good way to make friends too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I didn't stop you from getting the center. That other guy did.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I end with almost a normal Russia position.
I end with 18 dots. I'm in the top half of the leaderboard. After all that, after fighting everybody, all my neighbors at the start of the game.
For the entire game. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
This is how far tactics can take you, I guess. And honestly, you struggled. This will do it. It's not the greatest game. That's not really your fault either, because like they never gave you a chance. Like your tats.
I was so close.
Like year 2 onward. Yeah. I mean, you almost had that turned around.
I was so close. If Zakovitz hadn't stabbed, we were so close to glory.
To bring Russia back and all.
Yeah,
you got Russia.
Yep. Well, I got the last laugh.
True. And that's honestly sometimes that's worth it.
That's all you can ask for. Other than that, I mean, I think this board ended up about self-explanatory. England, you know how England kept like 2 armies in the homeland the entire game?
Never left. Of
Well,
course. Why? Oh my god. It's so
yeah.
dumb.
Yeah, because
England.
supported to London, so France just
Oh my god,
landed.
they convoyed in too.
They convoyed with
What
no
do these
support.
two armies can't even defend the home isles properly? They haven't had to fight like all game. They're just not. They're out of practice.
2 armies there the entire game, and yet, when there's a will, there's a way.
France. That's so dumb. France finds a way. Kind of. I almost applaud
I cannot believe that landed.
that. If it works, it works, I guess.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I think that basically does it. PSA: please don't go out and throw into games for no good reason. Throwing is bad, kids.
Throwing is indeed bad.
You still have an 18 dots after that. It's pretty good. But throwing's bad.
Yeah. I mean, there's your classic Russian position.
Yep. And the game is over.
Yeah, well, that was a fun game.
Yeah.
Maybe not to play in, but it was fun to watch.
It was an effort just to survive in this game. Jesus Christ. People did not.
Yeah.
I got attacked by 5 of my neighbors in year 2. And guess what?
Yeah.
2 of those neighbors got their heads
That is
off.
the typical Russia experience like that.
Yup.
Hopefully that changes with the coming season.
One can only dream. So with that, I think we'll be calling it quits here. Thanks for joining me, Salt, once again.
Yep.
And,
Fun times.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm King of Russia, he's Salt, and that was the AR. So if you watched this point, you're like, I don't know, crazy something. Have a good night.
Yeah. Subscribe for more.
Exactly.